Chapter 22. Auntie Sun passed away. She did not die peacefully. Before she died, her eyes were wide open because of the pain. The doctor rushed into the house and quickly took her pulse. After a while, he sighed and shook his head. It's too late. It's too late. Grandma sob, I want grandma. Although Guayuelua was young, she knew that when a person died, it meant that she would never see that person again. For a moment, the beautiful little girl burst into tears. 7 days later, Auntie Sun was officially buried. She was buried in the mountain behind their house. After Auntie Sun's death, Ma Wu, a grown man, could not take care of his granddaughter. Therefore his daughter and son-in-law took him home. Not long after, Ma Wu moved to his daughter's house and helped them kill pigs and sell meat. Without help, Zhang Xiaohong and Wang Zhong's life became more difficult. Their father, Wang Daong, was the same as before. He gambled outside every day. When he ran out of money, he would steal. Wang Zhong had already developed a murderous intent towards Wang Daong. Unfortunately, he was too young. Even if he was given a kitchen knife to chop Wang Daong while he was asleep, he would not be able to do it. If he woke up, it would be troublesome. At the age of 4, Wang Zhong realized that he could finally move around freely. In order to fill his stomach, while Zhang Xiaohong was doing farm work, he would run to the bottom of the tree to dig for loaches. After that, he would look for tree worms in the tree holes. This type of worm was very fat and pure white. Although it looked disgusting, it was rich in protein. After frying it, the children in the village would cry. Of course, their family was too poor and couldn't afford to buy oil. Therefore, Wang Zhong planned to boil it with water. Xiaoyu, what are you doing? Zhang Xiaohong, who had just finished her farm work, was very curious to see Wang Zhong sitting on the ground for a long time. Mother, look. Wang Zhong struggled to lift the dustpan in his hands. It was full of worms and loaches. Aya, why are you playing with these worms? Zhang Xiaohong scolded as she snatched the worms from Wang Zhong's hands. These are food. We eat wild vegetables and tree roots every day. It's not nutritious, Wang Zhong argued. Zhang Xiaohong was originally going to reprimand him, but after hearing what Wang Zhong said, she couldn't help but feel sad. It was because they ate poorly, and her son even wanted to eat worms. She sighed and said, but eating this will make your stomach hurt. I promise I won't. You child, how do you know? Because I have. Wang Zhong casually explained. Last night, I was so hungry that I fainted. Later, I saw a worm crawling under the bed, so I ate it. I didn't expect it to satisfy my hunger. Mother, try it. I've already dug so much. Bring him back. Zhang Xiaohong sighed. After Wang Zhong returned home, he took the initiative to boil water and prepare to cook the insect wild vegetable soup. Seeing Wang Zhong's busy appearance, Zhang Xiaohong could not help but feel warm in her heart. Although her husband was not a good thing, fortunately, the heavens gave her such a sensible son. While Wang Zhong was burning the fire, Zhang Xiaohong looked at the rice jar and saw that there was only a small handful of rice left. She sighed. It seemed that she would have to buy rice again tomorrow. Fortunately, she had saved 30 copper coins over the past few days, which was enough to buy a small bag of rice. After washing the rice, Zhang Xiaohong began to cook porridge as before. The porridge she cooked had a lot of water. This was because they would have to eat this small handful of rice for a day. If there was less water, the porridge would be finished quickly. At this time, a fragrance wafted from the house. She turned her head suspiciously and saw that Wang Zhong was cooking in the pot. It still smelled fragrant. Mother, how is the soup? Because Wang Zhong was short, he could not see the stove. Okay. Zhang Xiaohong opened the lid of the pot and saw insects floating on the leaves of the wild vegetables. Because the insects had been boiled in water, their bodies were very fat. Sprinkle some salt. Wang Zhong looked at the salt on the stove. Zhang Xiaohong had worked for a family for 3 days in exchange for this small handful of salt. Salt was very important to them. Usually, Zhang Xiaohong would only put in a little salt every 3 days. But today, her son had said that she could not bear to refuse. So she sprinkled a little salt and scooped out a little bit of soup. Wang Zhong took a sip. The taste was a little bland, but the taste of the insects was very delicious. It just looked a little disgusting. Forget it, let's eat. Wang Zhong picked up a worm and bit into it, causing its juices to splatter all over the place. After chewing a few times, he swallowed the worm. Was it delicious? It was definitely not as delicious as fried food. But to them, it was better than porridge that was similar to water. Zhang Xiaohong had suffered a lot since she was young. She was not a pretentious person. Smelling that the smell was not bad, she also ate a worm. The taste was a little greasy and a little disgusting. Then, she scooped a bowl of porridge and gave Wang Zhong a lot of rice. She only had some rice soup for herself. The rice grains floating on it could be counted with 2 hands. Mom, there's too little rice in your bowl. You usually do heavy work. If you don't eat your fill, you will tire your body out, Wang Zhong said. Mom is a woman. I eat very little to begin with, so I'm full after eating this. Besides, aren't there so many dishes? You, on the other hand, eat more. You are growing now. In the future, when you grow tall, your father won't dare hit you. Wang Zhong picked up his bowl and scooped some rice for Zhang Xiaohong. Mom, eat. I'll think of a way to eat in the future. Zhang Xiaohong smiled in relief. She didn't think too much about it. She only thought that he said that out of filial piety. This meal was very full. The next day, Zhang Xiaohong realized that her stomach was not as hungry as before. She also had a lot more strength when working. And when Wang Zhong was playing in the field, he found a type of grass. Isn't this grass? Wang Zhong squatted down and plucked a leaf from the grass. He suddenly remembered that in ancient times, grass was considered a weed and could not be eaten. At that time, grass was used as fodder. Later on, there was a famine. Some people were so hungry that they ate grass. They accidentally discovered that the taste of grass was very good, especially the tender parts of the grass. If they were cooked into soup, it would taste very fragrant. There were many ways to cook grass. The most common way was to cook soup. Put an egg in the grass soup, and it tasted very fragrant. Or stir-fry grass and put some white wine in it. The name of the dish was wine-fragrant grass. It was a famous dish. There was a lot of grass here. It was densely packed, but basically no one touched it. This is good stuff. Wang Zhong decisively took a dustpan and began to pick the grass. Chapter 23. It was time for dinner again. Zhang Xiaohong got off work early today because there was no more rice at home. She went to the rice shop on the street to buy rice. Wang Zhong began to boil water and prepare to cook the grass. Zhang Xiaohong originally did not support eating the grass. In her opinion, it was indeed grass. Eating it would cause indigestion. However, she could not persuade Wang Zhong. In the end, she had no choice but to agree. She thought that if her son tasted the grass and found it hard to swallow, he would definitely not eat it. Wang Zhong quickly finished cooking the grass. It tasted very fragrant. There were a few earthworms that had been squeezed dry. Because the earthworms' bodies were filled with soil, they had to be squeezed dry before they could be eaten. It tasted worse than worms, but it was very nutritious. Furthermore, it was easy to digest. Looking at his masterpiece, Wang Zhong could not help but sigh. He felt that it was like a dark cuisine. At this moment, the door opened and Zhang Xiaohong walked in with a smile. Son, our luck is really good. What's wrong, Mom? The rice shop owner gave us an extra 2 pounds of rice. Wang Zhong opened the rice and saw a few rice worms inside. There was a stale smell. It was obvious that it was old rice. It was probably the rice that was not sold well in the shop, so it was sold at a cheaper price. Although this rice has been stored for a long time, it has not gone moldy, Zhang Xiaohong said with a smile. Guess what else I bought for you? Wang Zhong took a sniff and said in surprise, It's the smell of chicken drumsticks. My son is still the most obedient. I brought you a chicken drumstick. Zhang Xiaohong took out a chicken drumstick wrapped in oil paper from behind her, as if she was performing a magic trick. She opened the oil paper, and the fragrance of the chicken drumstick wafted out. It was really fragrant. Wang Zhong still remembered that the last time he ate meat was on the 7th day of Auntie Sun's death. That day, Zhang Xiaohong helped with the funeral. Uncle Ma Wu kept them for a meal. There was a bowl of red braised pork on the table. He and Zhang Xiaohong ate a few pieces. Originally, when Auntie Sun was still alive, they could eat some meat every now and then because her son-in-law raised pigs and sold pork. The last thing the family lacked was pork. Needless to say, Uncle Ma Wu often went into the river to catch fish. After catching fish, Auntie Sun would give the fish to Zhang Xiaohong, saying that it was for Zhang Xiaohong to nourish her body. Now that Auntie Sun was dead and Uncle Ma Wu was living with his daughter, there was no one to help the mother and son. Wang Zhong had forgotten the taste of meat. "Mom, we don't have much money. How did you buy the drumsticks?" Wang Zhong raised his head and asked. "I found a job in a tavern on the street to help wash dishes in the kitchen. They promised to pay me 15 copper coins a month. Although it's not much, they promised me that I can bring back leftover food from the customers, so that we can eat our fill in the future." As she spoke, Zhang Xiaohong opened the drumstick. "Eat it. The lady boss gave it to me. She's a nice person." "Mom, it's been hard on you. You eat it." Wang Zhong shook his head. "I've already cooked the grass. It's very fragrant." Zhang Xiaohong looked and was surprised. Wasn't this grass? She didn't think that it would be so fragrant after being cooked. She picked up her chopsticks and tried a bite. She was stunned. It was very tender and tasted better than vegetables. It didn't have the astringent and hard-to-swallow feeling of other grasses. This child, why does he seem to know so much? Zhang Xiaohong looked at Wang Zhong in surprise. She felt that although her son was young, he was very sensible. Thinking back, he didn't need her to worry about him since he was young. There were many things that she didn't teach him, and he understood. Perhaps this is the child of a poor family maturing early. Zhang Xiaohong thought to herself. Bang! At this moment, the door was suddenly kicked open. Wang Deyong was thrown in like a dead dog. There were 3 large men standing outside the door. The leader had a large mole on his forehead. When he came in, he stared at Wang Zhong and Zhang Xiaohong. "Deyong, this is your son?" "Yes, Master Zhua. Take him away. As for the remaining money, I'll find a way to return it to you." Wang Deyong's face was covered in blood. He curled up his body and spoke with difficulty. Although he's a little skinny, he looks quite smart. "All right, I'll accept your son. Come and work in my house." Master Zhua nodded in satisfaction. "Wait, what do you want?" Zhang Xiaohong stood in front of Wang Zhong and said, "Your husband lost a lot of money at my gambling house. He even borrowed 50 silver taels from me." 50 silver taels. Zhang Xiaohong's face turned pale. She wouldn't be able to earn so much money in her lifetime. She glared at Wang Deyong. "Where did you get so much money?" "I borrowed it." Master Zhua took out a piece of paper. "It's written in black and white that he owes me 50 silver taels. There's even his fingerprint on it. Do you think I, Zhua Fu, would lie to you? Now that your husband isn't willing to pay, it's good that he has a son. I just happen to need some servants to work for me. Your son can come to my house." "No, this is my son. You can't take him away. He lost the bet. Let him pay for it himself." "Pa!" Just as Zhang Xiaohong finished speaking, Wang Deyong stood up and slapped her. "Why are you interrupting when men are doing things? Damn! It must be because of you that I'm so unlucky. When I came back, there was nothing to eat at home. When I wasn't home, you were eating chicken drumsticks." Wang Deyong picked up a chicken drumstick from the table and started munching on it. "Master Zhua, you can take this child with you. He'll work for you. Don't be polite, he can do anything." Wang Zhong glared at Wang Deyong. After thinking for a while, he hurriedly shouted, "I'm sick. If you take me with you, I'm afraid I won't be able to work. I might even infect you." Hee. This child has learned how to lie at such a young age. Take him away. How could Zhua Fu believe the words of a few years old child? With a command, the 2 burly men behind him rushed forward. Zhang Xiaohong wanted to stop them, but Wang Deyong rushed forward and gave Zhang Xiaohong a beating. "Don't grab me, don't grab me." Wang Zhong struggled to break free, but he was just a child. How could he be as strong as these adults? Very quickly he was dragged out. "Child, don't be afraid. Come to my house. There's good food and drink there. Every day, you will be in charge of burning firewood and washing clothes for my restaurant. Don't worry, I won't treat you badly." Zhua Fu sneered. "If you don't know what's good for you, I won't be polite anymore." After saying that, he took out a bamboo board and said fiercely, "Don't force me to beat you." Wang Zhong's heart went cold. He decisively stopped moving. I'll be obedient, okay? Hee hee, you're quite smart. Zhuofu laughed. Chapter 24. After arriving at Zhuofu's house, Wang Zhong found out that the Zhuo family was a local landlord. They were similar to Counselor Sun in the game. However, this Zhuofu was not honest. Not only did he open a casino, he was also a loan shark and a prostitute. In short, other than the legal businesses, he was involved in everything else. This fellow was very strict with his servants. All the servants in the house were forced by him to sell their bodies because of gambling debts. Thus, he only needed to provide some food for the servants. It was the same as working for him for free. The servants gave him a nickname behind his back, Zhuo Skinning. He had many people under him. If anyone disobeyed him, they would be beaten. The servants in the house were angry, but did not dare to say anything. Wang Zhong was arranged to work in the Zhuo Manor's kitchen. The work was not too tiring. Every day he would help with the fire, wash the clothes and sweep the floor. Although there was a lot of work every day, it was not without benefits. He could finally eat his fill. There was no big fish or meat, but there was enough food. I never thought that I would end up here. I wonder how mother is doing. Wang Zhong sighed and thought about what to do next. He could not stay here forever. With Zhuofu's temper, even if he worked until he was an adult, he would not let him go. He would continue to exploit him. However, he was still too young. If he ran home, he would be caught. Forget it, I'll work first. Eat more and let my body grow. Just as he was thinking, a maid walked over. Child, are you called Wang Xiaoyu? Sister, is there a problem? There's a woman at the back door. She must be your mother. She told me to call you. Thank you. Wang Xiaoyu stopped washing the clothes in her hands and walked out. Son, did you suffer? Seeing Wang Zhong come out, Zhang Xiaohong hugged him emotionally. Her eyes were red. Mother, I'm fine. Although I worked for them, I ate a lot. Wang Zhong looked at his mother's face and his heart clenched. Last night, after he left, Wang Deyong beat Zhang Xiaohong until she was covered in injuries. Now both her eyes were swollen. Sai, it's all my fault. Don't worry, I'll think of a way to get you out. When the time comes, we'll leave this place. But where can I go? If I leave, I won't even have a place to stay. Wang Zhong shook his head. I'll stay here first. You are fine by yourself. Son. Seeing how sensible Wang Zhong was, Zhang Xiaohong burst into tears. Son, it's all because of your father. What are we going to do in the future? It's okay, Mom. I'll take care of myself. After chatting for a while, the maidservant from before secretly ran out. Hey, that's enough. If the housekeeper comes down to check and finds out that you've come out, he'll punish you. Hurry up and come in with me. This maid was pretty good. Wang Zhong nodded his head and replied, I understand, big sister. Following the maidservant inside, the maidservant asked, Child, why did Zhuobapi capture you? My father lost the bet, so I was sold here. Is that so? Same as me. The maidservant lowered her head and said sadly, But you're better than me. My father lost the bet and sold my mother to Yangcheng courtyard to receive guests. He sold me here. They're all a bunch of animals. Wang Zhong said angrily. When I'm 18, I'll also be brought to Yangcheng courtyard to receive guests. Zhuobapi said that we still owe him a lot of money. A lot of money. I have to go and receive guests. Only then will he release my mother. At this sad point, the maidservant also cried. I'm 15 now. I only have 3 years left. Wang Zhong clenched his fists and said angrily, What kind of world is this? Why are there no good people? Child, my name is Yalan. What about you? My name is Wang Xiaoyu. Sister Yalan, haven't you thought of sneaking away? Don't be silly. Even if I escape, where can I escape to? I'm a girl. I'll be homeless outside. The two of you are actually chatting when you're not working. At this time, a gloomy voice came from behind. Wang Zhong quickly turned around. The one who spoke was the steward of the Zhuo family. His name was Zhang Laoben. He was a fat man in his 50s and liked to bully the servants. The servants were angry at him, but did not dare to say anything. Steward Zhang, we're preparing to go to the kitchen. We're not chatting. Yalan lowered her head and said fearfully, I saw it and you still say you're not chatting? And you? Zhang Laobin looked at Wang Zhong. You're the new servant called Xiaoyu, right? Didn't I arrange for you to work in the kitchen? Why are you running around? I'm going to the toilet. Wang Zhong replied. Yes. Little brother just came here and is not familiar with the place. I'm showing him the way. Yalan quickly said. Nonsense. I saw you coming in from the door with my own eyes. Were you trying to run? Zhang Laobin shouted. He picked up the bamboo board in his hand and hit Wang Zhong's arm. Papa. These 2 strikes caused Wang Zhong's hands to go numb. His tender little hands immediately turned red and swollen. Yalan quickly shielded Wang Zhong, so Zhang Laobin did not continue hitting him. After all, Yalan was going to be sold to the Yangchun brothel in the future. The customers would not like it if she hurt herself. Steward Zhang, we were wrong. Xiaoyu's mother just came, and I took him to see her. I won't do it again. Yalan lowered her head. I knew it. Get out of my way. I'll hit him with the bamboo board to teach him a lesson. Wang Zhong stared at Zhang Laobin expressionlessly. Sister Yalan, please get out of my way. I'll take this lesson. This. Yalan gritted her teeth and stepped aside helplessly. Hee, at least you know what's good for you. Zhang Laobin picked up the bamboo board and hit him. This 3-legged plank caused Wang Zhong's right arm to hurt for a few days. Fortunately, Sister Yalan had borrowed some medicine from a servant for him, which helped Wang Zhong recover slightly. In the blink of an eye, 2 years had passed. Wang Zhong's frail body had grown much stronger. At the age of 6, he was already helping the Zhou family chop firewood and do laundry. The other servants said that when Wang Zhong turned 10, he would have to work in some of the Zhou family's businesses. For example, he would have to work as a coolie or serve tea at the restaurant. In short, he would have to spend the rest of his life in darkness. Knowing this, Wang Zhong secretly made up his mind to find an opportunity to leave as soon as possible. Zhang Xiaohong would occasionally sneak in to see Wang Zhong at night. Every time, she would bring a drumstick. According to her, in order to avoid Wang Dayong's debt, she no longer went home. Instead, she worked at the Yuan Lion every day and stayed in the woodshed at night. As for Wang Dayong, she had not heard from him for a long time. For the past year, Yalan had been depressed. She was going to be sent to the orphanage next year. When she thought about her dark life in the future, she could not feel happy at all. Xiaoyu, these are the new shoes that I made for you. You grow up quickly. Your old shoes don't fit you anymore. Yalan gently stroked Wang Zhong's head. Suddenly she burst into tears. Remember to come and see me in the future. I'll miss you. Sister Yalan, you should run. My mother is at the Yuan Lion. She knows you. You can tell her what happened. She'll bring you back to my village. It won't be easy for them to catch you. It's no use. I've accepted my fate. Yalan cried and shook her head. Suddenly, there was a commotion at the door. Under the orders of the governor, we are hereby ordered to arrest Zhuo Fu, a wanted criminal of the imperial court. Arrest all of his family members. Leave no one alive. Chapter 25. All of a sudden, everyone in the Zhuo family panicked. Before they could react, they were taken down one by one, tied up, and brought out. Wang Zhong and Yalan were also tied up and brought to the main hall. Zhuo Fu, his 3 sons, and other family members knelt in front of a burly man with a large knife. They cried and shouted, I'm innocent. I'm innocent. Lord Zhao, there must be a misunderstanding. I can explain. There's no need to explain. Zhuo Fu, when you were 20 years old, you became a bandit and robbed merchants with more than 10 people. You must be the bandit wanted by the imperial court for many years, Big Baldy. Lord Zhao took out a scroll and pulled it out. On the scroll was a man with a bald head. What made Wang Zhong feel strange was that this person didn't look like Zhuo Fu at all. Zhuo Fu looked much fatter and had a large mole on his forehead. Lord Zhao, it's a misunderstanding. My name is Zhuo Fu. Everyone in the village knows me. Look, I don't look like the person in the scroll at all. I have a mole on my forehead. You're quite good at pretending. Lord Zhao sneered and reached out to grab the mole on Zhuo Fu's forehead. With a jerk, the mole was pulled off. Without the mole, Zhuo Fu didn't look so funny anymore. If he took off his hat, clothes, and slimmed down a little, he would look exactly like the person in the scroll. Zhuofu, what else do you have to say? At this moment, Zhuofu was like a rooster that had lost a fight. He stood there dumbfounded and could only weakly say, I'm innocent. I'm Zhuofu. Everyone in the village knows me. Take him away. Everyone in the Zhuo family, including the servants, was taken to the prison. After entering the prison, Wang Zhong learned from the others that Zhuofu was a wanted criminal from more than 20 years ago. People gave him the nickname Big Baldy. There was no Zhuo family here in the past, but there was a Big Baldy. Other than a few people who were familiar with him, no one knew his true identity. Later, Big Baldy used the money he robbed to buy land in the county and called himself Zhuofu. In order to deceive others, he grew his hair and beard, and even stuck a mole on his forehead after using glue and ink. He claimed that he had earned some money in his early years as a businessman, so no one doubted him. This time, he didn't know what had happened, but someone had leaked the news. At this time, he noticed that steward Zhang Laoben had not been locked up. Thinking about it carefully, that fellow seemed to have not been seen for the entire day. Even his son and daughter, who were staying with the Zhuo family, were not around. Could it be that Zhang Laoben leaked the secret? Wang Zhong didn't know if Zhang Laoben knew about Zhuofu's secret, but he was the housekeeper. It could be said that he was the one who understood the Zhuo family the best. If he accidentally found out about Zhuofu's secret, it was very likely that he would spill the beans for his own benefit. After that, the servants were interrogated one by one. Because Wang Zhong was too young, he was quickly released. Some of the servants were released one after another. After they were released, Wang Zhong found out that steward Zhang Laoben was the one who had leaked the secret. Because of this, Zhang Laoben even received 200 taels of silver from the imperial court. Wang Zhong was released together with Yalan. As soon as he came out, he saw Zhang Xiaohong waiting at the door. Mother! Wang Zhong ran over in surprise. Why are you here so early? I've been asking around for the past few days, so I know you're coming out. Zhang Xiaohong patted Wang Zhong's head lovingly. She hadn't seen her son for a while, and he had grown taller and more mature. As for Wang Zhong, he had also noticed a few strands of white hair growing out from Zhang Xiaohong's temples. Although Zhang Xiaohong had never mentioned how her job was, he could tell from the calluses on her hands that it definitely wasn't easy. This is Sister Yalan. She took good care of me in the Zhuo family. Wang Zhong said to Yalan. Sister Yalan, why don't you come to my house? Anyway, you only have a useless father left. If you go back and see him, you will be bullied. That's not good. Although Yalan wanted to follow, she felt that it wasn't appropriate. Miss, come to my house. I'll take you to the place where I work. Although it's a little tiring, I'll take care of food and accommodation. I'll even get paid. Zhang Xiaohong said. Then, thank you, Auntie. As the three of them walked back happily, Wang Zhong's mind was already thinking about the next step of the plan. He was going to be 7 years old soon, and his body was getting stronger. He could find some poisonous mushrooms or kill him while he was asleep. No one would know. Anyway, this person didn't come home all year round. He could just find a place to bury him, and no one would know. He had wanted to do these things for a long time, but he was too young. Even if he killed someone, digging a hole would tire him to death. When the time came, he wouldn't have to worry about anything. He would think of a way to farm and fill the stomachs of his family first. When he had the capital, he would follow his old methods and think of a way to start a small business and slowly save money. Just as he was thinking about this, he saw Zhang Laoben walking over with 3 strong men behind him. Why is he here? Wang Zhong frowned. Looking at these people's expressions, something was wrong. Yalan, I wanted to go to your house to look for you. I didn't expect you to come with this kid. Then I'll take you with me. Zhang Laoben said with a smile. Steward Zhang, Zhuofu has been arrested. I'm afraid he will be executed soon. Why are you looking for us? Wang Zhong asked bluntly. Good kid. You know a lot at such a young age. Zhang Laoben calmly took out a piece of paper and said, although that old bastard Zhuofu is dead, your indenture contracts are still with me. Now, I am the owner of these contracts. If you can't pay your debts, You will have to pay your debts with your lives. What? Yalan shook her head. I also owe Zhufu a debt. He's dead. Why should I pay? That's not up to you. It's written in black and white. Do you want to deny it? Arrest them, Zhang Laoben ordered, and the 3 strong men behind him rushed forward. Run! Zhang Xiaohong stood in front of Wang Zhong. Yalan pulled Wang Zhong and ran. However, not long after he ran out, he heard Zhang Xiaohong scream. When he turned around, he saw his mother being pushed to the ground by Zhang Laoben. When she fell to the ground, Zhang Xiaohong's head happened to hit a protruding rock. A large hole appeared in her head, and blood flowed out like a river. She died. Seeing this, Yalan screamed in fear. Zhang Laoben also knew that he was in big trouble, and cursed in his heart. Although he was powerful now, if he killed someone, the authorities would still investigate. Therefore, he immediately left with his men. Wang Zhong rushed to Zhang Xiaohong's body. Mother, mother, Zhang Xiaohong was silent. In front of Wang Zhong, a system panel appeared. You couldn't live a good life with your mother because she was killed. Mission failed. Looking at the words in front of him, Wang Zhong fell into darkness. He could only hear Yalan's cries. Chapter 26. Game over. The main character of the game has died. 1,000 experience points will be lost. Opening his eyes, Wang Zhong looked at the familiar white walls and ceiling. His face was expressionless. This time, he failed the game again and lost 1,000 experience points. Unlike before, this time, it was because of his mother's death that he failed the game. The mission this time was to bring my mother to live a good life. My mother didn't live a good life and was killed in advance. No wonder I failed the game. Wang Zhong was melancholy, and at the same time, he was unwilling to give up. Time, what he needed was time to grow. He wasn't even 7 years old, and had to carry so many burdens. In this game, it was really too difficult. In fact, he thought that he had done very well in the beginning. Under his manipulation, he and his mother cooked insect and wild vegetable soup, ate grass, and endured the difficult days. It also made his thin and weak body grow a little stronger. Then at such a young age, he started to work in the fields and help to cook. Which child could do that? He also wanted to get rid of Wang Daong as soon as possible, but he didn't have the poison. The ancient mountains had not been developed, and there were many wild boars and wolves. He was so young. If he went into the mountains, he would be putting his head on his waist. After experiencing so many worlds, Wang Zhong was not as impulsive as when he was young. So he needed time. When he grew up, everything would be easy. But things didn't go as he wished. Because of his father, he and his mother were dragged down. He had to kill him in advance. Otherwise, his family would still be dragged down. Wang Zhong made up his mind, and a plan arose in his mind. Wang Zhong, it's time to eat. At this time, the nurse walked in. Today, her walking posture was much better, and not as twisted. She skillfully peed and defecated Wang Zhong. Today's defecation was golden and shiny. It wasn't particularly smelly. This meant that Wang Zhong's body was still quite good. He didn't have excessive internal heat, and the amount of defecation was not very large. The nurse held back her disgust and quickly finished. Then, she placed the urinal at the bottom of the tool cart. After letting out a sigh of relief, she started to wash Wang Zhong's face. When she was scrubbing Wang Zhong's right hand, she was stunned. This was because she felt that Wang Zhong's right hand seemed to be much stronger than before. One must know that when she first took over Wang Zhong, it was 3 months ago. At that time, Wang Zhong's entire body was paralyzed. Other than some muscles on his face, the rest of his body was soft. But now his right hand seemed to be a little stronger. This gave her goosebumps. Could it be that this assassin had recovered? But soon, the nurse dispelled her doubts. The doctors had diagnosed that ALS was irreversible. How could it recover for no reason, unless there was something that science could not explain? Thinking of this, the nurse continued to wipe and feed him. Today's dish was a little bland. It was carrot soup. However, Wang Zhong wasn't a picky eater. After eating, Wang Zhong said, "Can I trouble you with something?" What is it?" "Later, buy me a few books on agriculture. I want to read them." The nurse was very curious. Why would this weirdo read that kind of book for no reason? Is it only about agriculture? Do you want to read novels? There have been a few novels on the internet recently. They are quite popular. The author is. There's no need. Wang Zhong interrupted the nurse. Okay, got it. The nurse nodded and pushed the tools out of the driveway. Then I'll be leaving. If there's anything, just call the prison guard. Once the nurse left, Wang Zhong couldn't wait to enter the game. This time, he wanted to start all over again and reverse his life. Loading game. Ah, my stomach, my stomach. I'm going to give birth. Daong, I feel like I'm going to give birth. Wake up, call the midwife. Ah, it hurts. Just like last time. After he was born, his father, Wang Daong, drank himself into a stupor. The next morning, after Zhang Xiaohong prepared the rat soup, Auntie Sun brought the fish soup. Time flew by like a shuttle. Just like in his previous life, Wang Zhong struggled until he was 3 years old. On this day, he remembered that in his previous life, Wang Daong stole the 20 copper coins hidden under his mother's bed. Because of this, his mother was heartbroken for a long time. Thus, on the day that Wang Daong was about to steal the money, Wang Zhong took out the 20 copper coins in advance. After thinking for a while, he only stuffed 2 copper coins into the hole and buried the rest of the money in the soil behind the door. On this day, Wang Daong returned home. He secretly searched for the money under his bed. When he saw that there were only 2 copper coins, he frowned. And why is there only 2 copper coins? He saw Wang Zhong warming the stove and frowned. Son, let me ask you, where did your mother hide the money? It's under the bed. Didn't you take it? Wang Zhong replied in a childish voice. It can't be. She goes out to work every day. Logically speaking, there should be at least 10 copper coins. Why is there so little? Wang Daong didn't suspect that Wang Zhong was lying. After all, he was only a 3-year-old child. In his opinion, he didn't know anything. I haven't eaten recently. Mother used the money to buy rice. What bad luck. Forget it. Father is going out to earn money. Holding the 2 copper coins, Wang Daong drank a mouthful of porridge and left without looking back. When Zhang Xiaohong returned from work, she originally wanted to buy rice. However, when she lifted the blanket, she saw that the money that she had hidden was gone. She immediately cried. Xiaoyu, did your father come back to take the money and leave? Wang Zhong nodded. He then pulled Zhang Xiaohong behind the door. I saw that when he came back, he hid the money in advance. He only left 2 copper coins under the bed. Good boy. You're so smart. Zhang Xiaohong sighed in relief when she saw that the money was still there. Mother, let's go to the mountain behind second Aunt Chen's house tomorrow. I heard from the other children that there's a type of wild vegetable that's very delicious. Wang Zhong knew that Zhang Xiaohong would go to his house to farm tomorrow. When she finished farming, his uncle and aunt would rush out and claim that the land was theirs. By then, not only would Zhang Xiaohong have wasted her efforts, she would also be slapped by them. Therefore, in order to avoid trouble, Wang Zhong said that. Xiaoyu, I'm going to farm tomorrow. Why don't we go to second Aunt Chen's house the day after tomorrow? I don't want to. Those vegetables are very delicious. Wang Zhong said. Mother, I don't usually ask for anything. Just listen to me. You child. Thinking that Wang Zhong was usually very sensible, Zhang Xiaohong nodded. All right then. We'll go to second Aunt Chen's house tomorrow. The next day, Wang Zhong pulled Zhang Xiaohong to the mountain behind second Aunt Chen's house. Sure enough, they saw a large pile of grass. Xiaoyu, are you saying that this is vegetables? Zhang Xiaohong looked at the grass. Just like in her previous life, she shook her head and said, This thing is for livestock. Remember, humans can't eat it. Otherwise, they'll have a stomachache. Mother, why don't you pick some and try it? I heard from the other children that this is even more delicious than vegetables. The other children don't understand. Let's try it. We don't have anything to eat tonight. Why don't you pick some back? If it's not delicious, Mother, you can throw it away. What do you think? Zhang Xiaohong looked at Wang Zhong in surprise. It was hard to imagine that such logical words would come out of the mouth of a 3-year-old child. She always felt that her son was a little precocious. He understood everything without her teaching him. Could it be that he was a monster? Zhang Xiaohong laughed self-deprecatingly. Even if he was a monster, he was still her son. Perhaps this was what it meant to be a child of a poor family. Chapter 27. After returning that day, Zhang Xiaohong cooked porridge and a pot of soup. After Wang Zhong washed the grass, Zhang Xiaohong placed all the grass into the pot. After a short while, a fragrant aroma wafted out of the pot. It's really fragrant. Zhang Xiaohong was a little curious. She used to help the farmers in the village cut pig feed. She cut the most grass because pigs love to eat it. She didn't expect that it would taste so good when cooked. She carefully picked up a piece of grass and put it into her mouth. Her eyes immediately lit up. It was very smooth and tender in her mouth. It tasted very good and did not feel difficult to swallow. It was really edible. Mother, if there were eggs or other condiments, it would taste even better, Wang Zhong said in a childish voice. Yes, it's quite delicious. My son is so obedient. No matter how tired she was after a day of farm work, Zhang Xiaohong's fatigue was swept away when she saw her son being so sensible. She kissed Wang Zhong. At Wang Zhong's request, she picked up a bit of precious salt and sprinkled it into the soup. Although salt was precious, Wang Zhong knew that it was a necessity for the human body. Not only could it whet the appetite, but more importantly, it could reduce the incidence of diseases. This was because salt contained a nutritive substance, iodine. In ancient times, people who ate less salt would have short bodies and low intelligence. In serious cases, they would have a big neck disease or even a hunchback. Therefore, there were many people with hunchbacks in the past. After entering the modern era, living conditions improved, and there were almost no cases of iodine and salt deficiency. Wang Zhong did not want to get these diseases before he grew up. Therefore, as long as there were these substances, it was best to eat as much as possible. This meal was very enjoyable for the mother and son. Although it was a simple meal, at least they were not hungry. The next day, Zhang Xiaohong carried Wang Zhong to work in her family's field. As soon as they arrived, Wang Zhong saw his good uncle and good aunt farming with their family. My brother, my sister, this land belongs to our family. How can you farm our land? Because the other party had more people, Zhang Xiaohong lowered her posture. Little Red, when did this land become your family's? Eldest Aunt Wang Ping walked over with a hoe. This land was passed down from our ancestors. Logically speaking, it should be distributed according to the number of people. You have the least people, so you have the least land. Eldest Uncle Wang Daho nodded. Sister-in-law, you have enough land. If you have any questions, let De Yong talk to me. Wang Zhong knew that even though Wang Daong was fierce to his family, he was only afraid of his uncle Wang Dahu. Thus, in his previous life, when his mother told him that his family's land had been taken over, not only did Wang Daong not mention it to outsiders, he even beat up Zhang Xiaohong. Zhang Xiaohong held back her grievances. You guys, you can't do this. I've been farming since I married into the family. That's because we're nice people. We let you plant it. Look at how many people we've had in the past few years, so it's normal for us to take the land, Wang Ping said naturally. Behind her, her son nodded and said domineeringly, Little mama, you can go back. We've planted this place. That's all. He didn't show any mercy at all. Wang Zhong pulled Zhang Xiaohong's collar. Mother, let's go back. They have a lot of people. In the end, Zhang Xiaohong brought Wang Zhong home. Next door, Auntie Sun saw them and asked curiously, Xiaohong, didn't you go to farm? Why are you back? Zhang Xiaohong told her what had happened, feeling wronged. Auntie Sun said angrily, They're really good for nothings. They're taking advantage of Wang Daong to bully us. It's fine. Anyway, the land will be taken away by the debt collectors. We can just farm half of it. Zhang Xiaohong comforted herself. You can farm for me for the next few days. Auntie Sun saw how pitiful Zhang Xiaohong was and took the initiative to carry Wang Zhong. Our son and daughter don't rely on the land for a living, so we have a lot of land. In the future, if you want to eat anything, you can go and farm it. It won't be a problem. How can I do that? Zhang Xiaohong was kind-hearted. She thought about how she had been receiving help from Auntie Sunday. If she were to farm her family's land, wouldn't she be taking advantage of them? She couldn't let go of her conscience. It's nothing. Besides, you usually help me with work. It really won't be a problem. As Auntie Sun spoke, she tapped Wang Zhong's nose. Look at this child. He's really handsome. I've never seen him cry. He will definitely be successful in the future. Upon hearing others praise her child, Zhang Xiaohong revealed a proud smile. It's a pity that our family is poor. Otherwise, we would definitely send him to school. Sigh, it's all because Daong has been led astray by others. He was such a good person in the past. He could do the work of 3 people in my family alone. Ever since he was taken to gambling by that group of people, he has changed completely. Let's not talk about him. I no longer have any hope for him. I just hope that he won't disturb our lives, Zhang Xiaohong said with a sigh. Since there's nothing else, why don't we go to the stream in front? My husband went to catch fish again. Auntie Sun took the initiative to suggest when she saw that Zhang Xiaohong was in a bad mood. Okay. I want to watch Grandpa catch fish. Gua Yueluo, who was playing with a green foxtail in the grass, clapped her hands in excitement. This child just loves to watch people catch fish. Auntie Sun smiled dotingly. The 4 of them walked to the stream in front of them. On the way, Wang Zhong could already walk very well. Gua Yueluo was still walking crookedly. However, this girl did not let anyone carry her. She liked to walk in the mud. Be careful of falling, Wang Zhong reminded Gua Yueluo. Xiaoyu, why do you walk faster than me even though you're a month younger than me? Gua Yueluo's childish voice sounded a little indignant. That's because you grow slowly. You have to eat more in the future, Wang Zhong reminded her. Look at this child. Her tone is exactly the same as an adult. Auntie Sun laughed. Ouch! At this moment, Gua Yueluo was not paying attention and tripped on a rock. Immediately, her delicate face was covered in mud. Grandma, it hurts. Boo-hoo, Gua Yueluo burst into tears. Feeling helpless, Auntie Sun hugged Gua Yueluo and comforted her. Don't cry. I'll help you hit the rock. This rock will kill it. Wang Zhong held Gua Yueluo's hand and said, Sister, don't cry. I'll take you to play in the water later. Are you really going to take me to play? Yueluo looked at Wang Zhong and stopped crying. As long as you don't cry, then I won't cry. Let's play together. I'll be your wife and cook for you. Gua Yueluo giggled. Wang Zhong felt helpless. As the 2 families were neighbors, he was very close to Gua Yueluo. Gua Yueluo would always run to his house and ask Wang Zhong to play with her. However, Wang Zhong was an adult. He was not in the mood to play with her. Therefore, he ignored her every time. The few of them walked to the stream. Zhang Xiaohong instructed, Xiu, you look after your sister, Auntie Sun, and I will go to the river to help. Okay, mother. Wang Zhong nodded. The stream was very shallow. Therefore, they were not afraid that Wang Zhong and Gua Yueluo would fall into the water. Just as the adults were setting their nets to catch fish, Wang Zhong saw many snails clinging to the rocks by the side of the stream. His gaze immediately focused. The snails in this world were quite big. Chapter 28. Wang Zhong had lived in this world for so many years. He had long figured out that this world was not ancient Earth. Just like the Great Dragon Dynasty, it was another planet. Previously, he had lived here for so long. As he was young, there were wolves, wild boars, and other wild beasts in the mountains. For safety reasons, he had never had the chance to come here. Now he did not expect that there would be snails in the water. Thinking back, it seemed that the people in this world did not eat snails. Hee, it's so fun. Gua Yueluo giggled as she played with the water. She shouted at Wang Zhong, Brother Xiaoyu, shui shui. Wang Zhong picked a few wild flowers for her and let Gua Yueluo play by herself. He began to pick up the snails. The snails here were big and round. In a short while he had picked up 40 to 50 snails. Seeing this, Auntie Sun asked curiously, Why is this child touching the snails? Auntie Sun, this is edible, Wang Zhong said in a childish voice. Uncle Ma Wu laughed and said, There's too little meat inside. Moreover, the tail is black and smelly. It's not delicious. This child usually doesn't eat much, so he thinks that everything is delicious, Auntie Sun said. That afternoon, the 3 adults caught more than 20 big fish and a bunch of small fish. When they returned home, Auntie Sun gave Zhang Xiaohong 5 big fish. Zhang Xiaohong began to cook dinner. When she was killing the fish, she saw Wang Zhong holding a brick and using a stone to smash the sharp end of the snail's tail. She asked curiously, "Xiu Yu, what are you doing?" "I'm thinking that this thing is really edible. Didn't Uncle Ma Wu say that the tail is smelly and not delicious? I'm smashing it. You child." Zhang Xiaohong smiled bitterly and shook her head. She felt that this might be the naivety of a child. She let him play. Today's food was very sumptuous. There was a large bowl of fish soup with wild vegetables and mushrooms. After cooking, Zhang Xiaohong could not resist Wang Zhong's request. She poured some precious lard and fried the snails. At the end, she added a little chili. During dinner, Wang Zhong took the embroidery needle that Zhang Xiaohong usually used to sew clothes. After piercing a piece of snail meat, he picked it out and ate it. "Mother, this is very delicious, but the tail is not delicious, so just eat half of the meat." Wang Zhong spat out the tail and said. Zhang Xiaohong felt a little strange and tried to eat one. Her eyes immediately lit up. Because of the chili, the small piece of snail meat tasted hot and spicy. It was especially fragrant. After the mother and son finished the whole bowl of snails, Zhang Xiaohong realized that she was 70% full. In that case, if there was no food in the future, all he had to do was go to the stream to get some food. Thinking of this, Zhang Xiaohong felt relieved. At least she didn't have to starve anymore. When the two of them were almost done eating, Wang Daong came back drunk, just like in his previous life. Fortunately, Wang Zhong had hidden the rest of the fish in advance. Wang Daong only drank a little bit of the leftover soup and fell asleep drunk. Looking at the sleeping Wang Daong, Wang Zhong's killing intent surged. He then secretly picked up an empty wine bottle and hid it. The next day, Zhang Xiaohong carried Wang Zhong to work in the fields. Wang Zhong knew that in his previous life, Auntie Sun had been bitten to death by a poisonous snake on this day. This time he would not let that happen again. "Xiao Yu, you and Yu Luo can play by the side. Be careful not to walk into the forest. There are wolves that eat children there," Zhang Xiaohong warned. "Yes, mother," Wang Zhong replied. He had been following behind Auntie Sun, staring at the place where the poisonous snake had appeared last time. In fact, he had also thought of using a hoe to kill the snake. However, when he tried to use a hoe just now, he found that it was difficult to even lift it, let alone smash it. He could raise a wooden stick, but the wooden stick did not have the power to kill in one hit. If the poisonous snake counterattacked, he would not be able to survive. Finally, Wang Zhong saw the poisonous snake in the grass. Just as Auntie Sun was about to walk over, Wang Zhong quickly pulled her back. "Auntie, don't move. There's a snake." "Ah, where?" Wang Zhong pulled Auntie Sun back and pointed at the grass not far away. "There. Hurry up and hit it." Auntie Sun did not think about how a 3-year-old child like Wang Zhong knew about snakes. She thought that this child had learned a lot since he was young. She narrowed her eyes and carefully said, "Don't move. Watch me kill it." As soon as she finished speaking, Auntie Sun raised the hoe and smashed it down. Immediately, the snake's body was flattened by the hoe. Although Auntie Sun was a woman, she was not much weaker than a man. After a few more hits, the snake's wriggling tail gradually stiffened and stopped moving. So scary, so scary. It's a snake." Guo Yueluo was so scared that her face turned pale. Wang Zhong breathed a sigh of relief. Auntie Sun was not dead. The history of this life would be completely changed. Oh, it's an iron-headed poisonous snake. Auntie Sun was so old after all. She immediately recognized the poisonous snake. With a pale face, she hugged Wang Zhong and kissed him. "Xiaohong, your son is my savior. If he didn't remind me, I would have been bitten to death," Wang Zhong said in a childish voice. "Auntie Sun, you are such a good person. I won't let you die. This child is so sensible. I really like him." Auntie Sun smiled. "Come to my house tonight. Auntie will cook braised pork for you." "Thank you, Auntie." On this day, Auntie Sun praised everyone she met. Fortunately, Wang Zhong reminded her that there was a poisonous snake in the grass. Otherwise, if she passed by, she might have stepped on the snake and been bitten to death. When Uncle Ma Wu found out about this, He went to his daughter's house and brought back 2 caddies of pork. He said that he would cook braised pork for Wang Zhong. When the adults were preparing to eat at night, Wang Zhong brought the small wine bottle that he had secretly hidden to the side of the dead snake. After the snake was killed, Auntie Sun threw it into the grass. He had been watching it all afternoon. He walked to the side of the snake and put his teeth against the wine bottle. Drops of transparent liquid flowed into the bottle. He used to be a veterinarian, so he was very familiar with this kind of thing. Soon, the small bottle of venom was collected. He plugged it with a small wooden stopper and went home to hide the empty bottle. Wang Daong, this time you are back. You will never return. In the evening, Wang Zhong ate a lot of braised pork. Auntie Sun sighed. Xiao Hong, I think you are a sensible child. You are so young. You don't cry or make a fuss. You even help you work. When my son was young, he was only 7 or 8 years old when he was so sensible. Grandma, I am also very sensible, Gua Yueluo said unhappily. Yes, our Yueluo is also sensible. Auntie Sun was amused. The 2 families ate happily. In the evening, Wang Zhong sat outside the house and looked at the moon in the sky. According to the timeline, Wang Daong would be back in a month. Just like before, he would take money to gamble. He had to get rid of him as soon as possible. Otherwise, when he was 4 years old, he would bring Zhuo Fu and his gang to cause trouble. Chapter 29. While Wang Zhong was thinking about this, Gua Yueluo sat beside him and mumbled something to herself. Wang Zhong didn't know what she was talking about. Wang Zhong couldn't help but find it funny. This was probably a child's world. She talked to herself and entertained herself. She didn't have any worries. Since he was young, he had too many burdens. Sometimes he really wished that he could be like Gua Yueluo, who was carefree. Gradually, Gua Yueluo fell asleep. Aunt Sun quietly carried her into the house to sleep. Meanwhile, Zhang Xiaohong held Wang Zhong's hand as they returned home. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. These days the food was not bad. Other than the fact that there was very little rice, the mother and son ate wild grass, and the fish that Auntie Sun gave them. They ate until they were full. Therefore, Wang Zhong did not think of digging for worms and earthworms to eat. After all, although those things were nutritious, they were indeed a little disgusting. On this day, Wang Daong had indeed returned. This time, he seemed to be very happy. Wang Zhong remembered that in his previous life, he had won 3 taels of silver. Therefore, he had bought a lot of wine and a roasted chicken. However, he and his mother did not manage to eat much of the roasted chicken. Wang Daong had drunk most of it. Son, your father is back. Where's your mother? Wang Daong asked with a smile. Zhang Xiaohong knew that the reason why Wang Daong was so happy was because he had won money. However, she could not bring herself to be happy. If she counted carefully, Wang Daong had only won a small amount of money and lost a large amount of money. Unfortunately, the gambler did not know this. He only knew that if he won today, he would be able to earn a lot of money tomorrow and the day after. However, he did not know that this was the mentality of the people in the casino. As long as he continued to gamble, no matter how much he won, he would have to pay it back sooner or later. Zhang Xiaohong was not happy at all. She coldly said, "You still know to come back. Honey, I've already won money. Why are you still pulling a long face?" Wang Daong smiled at Wang Zhong. "Xiaoyu, don't you think so? Since you've won, give me the money. There's no more rice at home, and I still need to buy some farming tools." Zhang Xiaohong walked over and said. Wang Deyong was immediately displeased. He stammered, "This is my capital. I still need this money to recoup my losses. Don't worry, I've already figured out the trick behind the dice. Next time I'll double the money. When that time comes, our family won't have to worry about food and clothing." Plop! Look at Xiaoyu, he's your son. He's skinnier than the other children in the village. We've been starving every day. We don't have enough food to eat or warm clothes to wear. Our blankets have been torn to shreds. We still have to warm ourselves in the winter. Please stop. Let's live a good life. Go, go, go. You're too soft-hearted. What the hell do you know? If I withdraw now, how am I going to recover my losses in the past? I've already said that I figured out a way to win. You just have to wait and live a good life. Wang Daong said proudly. He sat down and poured himself a glass of wine. Then, he tore off a chicken wing and started eating. Just like before, Wang Daong drank until he was dead drunk. In the end he shouted, "You're all a bunch of snobs. When I win all your money, I'll be able to live in a big yard like that dog Zhuofu. I'll have so many servants. When that time comes I'll be Master Wang. You guys are nothing. Xiuyu, let me bring you to Auntie Sun's house to play." In the past, Wang Zhong would always vent his anger on his family when he drank too much. Therefore, Zhang Xiaohong would often bring Wang Zhong to Auntie Sun's house to stay for a while. When Wang Daong was asleep, they would return. "Okay, mother." Wang Zhong nodded obediently. Daong drank too much again. Seeing Zhang Xiaohong bring Wang Zhong over, Auntie Sun immediately knew what had happened. She angrily said, "This animal is worse than a beast. All he knows is to drink." "Sai, I've accepted my fate." Zhang Xiaohong hugged Wang Zhong helplessly. "Stay here for a while. Yu Luo, your brother Xiaoyu is coming." Wang Zhong accompanied Yu Luo to play with green foxtails for a while. Only then did Zhang Xiaohong bring Wang Zhong home. At this time, Wang Daong was indeed asleep. There was only a pile of empty wine bottles and leftover chicken bones left on the floor. He was lying on his back on the bed, snoring loudly. "Go to sleep." Zhang Xiaohong made a mattress on the floor. As she was too tired from working during the day, Zhang Xiaohong fell asleep very quickly. Wang Zhong's eyes were wide open. He quietly got up and took out the snake venom that he had hidden in the corner of the room. When he opened the lid, other than the snake venom, there was also a slender fish bone. It was not that he did not want to use a needle. It was just that his family was so poor that they only had one needle. That needle had to be used to pick up snails to eat. He did not want to be stained with snake venom. This fish bone was as long as a finger and was very hard. It was a fish bone that Wang Zhong had carefully selected. He had tried to use it on fish before, and it was very convenient. Walking to the bedside, the moonlight was especially round tonight. He could vaguely see Wang Daong snoring in the room. "Don't blame me." Wang Zhong took the fish bone and dipped it in snake venom. After turning Wang Daong's wrist over, he found the vein and used a bit of force to stab the bone into it. Ugh! The drunk Wang Daong was in a daze. Although he felt pain in his hand, he continued to sleep. Wang Zhong was still worried. He dipped it in snake venom and stabbed it a few more times. After he was done, he hid the bottle back in its original place. Not long after, Wang Daong began to convulse violently. "Mother, mother, I saw a snake come in." Wang Zhong shouted at this moment. When Zhang Xiaohong woke up, she quickly lit the candle. "What happened to the child?" "I saw a snake slithering down from father's bed. Then father became like this." "Ah!" Zhang Xiaohong looked carefully and saw Wang Daong's entire body convulsing violently. His eyes were rolled back and white foam was coming out of his mouth. However, his body was indeed much better than Auntie Sun's. After Auntie Sun was bitten by the snake, she died on the spot. Yet Wang Daong still had such a big reaction. Suddenly, Wang Daong stretched out his hand towards Wang Zhong and Zhang Xiaohong. He said incoherently, "Save, save." He could still talk. A strong person was indeed different. Wang Zhong thought that it was fortunate that he didn't act rashly and use a knife to kill him. This was because he had thought about it. A knife could pierce a vein and let out blood. But for a strong person, even if it pierced through his vein, he would still have a strong ability to fight back. Before he was 100% sure, he didn't want to take the risk. "Daong, Daong, what happened to you?" This scene made Zhang Xiaohong's heart jump. She hugged Wang Zhong and hid in a corner, trembling. In the end, Wang Daong didn't speak. After convulsing a few times, Wang Daong stopped moving. His pupils were dilated. That day Wang Daong passed away. Chapter 30. Wang Daong passed away. He did not die peacefully. Before he died, he struggled violently, and even bit the tip of his tongue. Because he used too much strength, the veins on his forehead and arms bulged. Even at the moment of his death, his muscles did not relax. In the end, his eyes were wide open, and he breathed his last. The next day, everyone in the village knew that Wang Daong had been bitten by a poisonous snake. However, these people were not sad. Instead, they praised him behind his back. After all, these people had seen what Wang Daong had done all these years. Other than Wang Daong's brother and sister, everyone else sympathized with Zhang Xiaohong and her son. Although Wang Daong was a bastard, the funeral still had to be done. 7 days later, he was officially buried. Zhang Xiaohong used a piece of cloth to wrap the body. After digging for a day, she finally dug a hole and buried Wang Daong. Looking at Wang Daong's tombstone, Wang Zhong breathed a sigh of relief. With Wang Daong's death, his and his mother's fate would be rewritten. Not long after Wang Daong's death, Zhang Xiaohong carried Wang Zhong to farm. However, as soon as they arrived, they saw Wang Dahu and Wang Ping farming with their family. "My brother, my sister, why are you farming our family's land?" Zhang Xiaohong hurriedly ran over. "Oh, Xiaohong, that's not right. What do you mean by farming your family's land? This land belongs to our Wang family. Now that Wang Daong is dead, this land naturally belongs to us," Wang Ping said arrogantly with her hands on her hips. "But Xiaoyu is Daong's son. Then there's no other way. Xiaohong, you're still young. Who knows who you'll marry after Daong's death? If you marry him, are you going to give this land to you too?" Wang Dahu scolded. "I promise I won't marry anyone," Zhang Xiaohong begged. Wang Ping said angrily, "If you say you won't marry, then don't marry. Since Daong is dead, you can forget about this land. If you dare to make a scene, we'll take your house back." Starvation? This was starvation. Wang Zhong's heart was filled with anger. His tender little hands were clenched tightly. He had never thought that such a vicious thing as eating up the family would happen to him. The so-called eating out of the family referred to when a family's pillar of support died, leaving only an orphan and a widow. Then, the family of the deceased man, such as uncles and aunts, would bully them. For example, they would occupy the land of widows and orphans, snatch their property, or even force them away, forcing the widows and orphans to walk on the road of no return. This was called eating up the family. Even in modern society, this kind of thing was common. A few years ago, there were two famous people who tore each other apart because of this. We don't have land. How are we going to survive?" Plop. Zhang Xiaohong immediately knelt down and kowtowed. "Brother, sister, please give us some land on account of Xiaoyu's young age." Go, go, go. What bad luck. I think De Yong's luck hasn't been good ever since he married you." Wang Ping impatiently chased her away. Wang Dahu scolded. "What's wrong? Kneeling down to make others sympathize with you? Let the others in the village be the judge. De Yong is dead. His things don't belong to the Wang family. Get out of here immediately." "Mother, I can't talk to them. Let's go," Wang Zhong said expressionlessly. "Son, it's okay." Wang Zhong smiled. He turned his head and shouted, "Life is full of ups and downs. Sooner or later, this debt will be settled." On the way back, Zhang Xiaohong kept sighing. "We don't have land. How are we going to live in the future? Mother, let's raise chickens. When we raise chickens, we can sell eggs in the county. Also, we can catch fish. When I grow up, I'll learn how to catch fish from Uncle Ma Wu. So don't be afraid. We'll be fine." Wang Zhong had thought about it. With his knowledge as a veterinarian, raising chickens and ducks was more than enough. He could also catch some fish and game. As long as they could get through this difficult period, everything would be fine. Yes, that's the only way. Seeing that Wang Zhong was so sensible, Zhang Xiaohong's heart lit up with a glimmer of hope. Fortunately, when De Yong died, he left 3 taels of silver. Early the next morning, Zhang Xiaohong brought Wang Zhong to the county town to buy chicken seedlings. As a veterinarian, Wang Zhong could tell which chicken seedlings were healthy, which were thin, which were weak, and which were hens. Later, under Wang Zhong's suggestion, Zhang Xiaohong bought 12 chicken seedlings. With the remaining taels of silver, she bought some rice. However, Wang Zhong didn't go back immediately. Instead, he used the excuse of going shopping to take Zhang Xiaohong to the county government. There were pictures of wanted criminals posted on the door. The head of the wanted criminal Big Baldy was pasted on the door. It said that anyone who told him the location of the wanted criminal would be rewarded with 200 taels of silver. In his previous life, when Zhang Laoben came to the government to inform on him, he was rewarded with 200 taels of silver. After that, through some unknown means, he obtained Zhuofu's family property, and even got his hands on the slave contract. To do all these things, he couldn't have done it in a day. Zhang Laoben must have planned this for a long time. When I settle down, I'll tell the government in advance and try to get Zhang Laoben in. I'm still too young. Even if I tell the government, they won't care about me. Instead, if the news gets out, I'll be killed. Moreover, even if I tell my mother, she won't believe me. Let's wait for another 2 years. Thinking of this, Wang Zhong pulled Zhang Xiaohong and said, "Mother, let's go." When they got home, Zhang Xiaohong packed up. First, she used a fence to create a field in the grass behind the house to raise chickens. Raising chickens seemed easy, but it was actually very troublesome. Although Zhang Xiaohong didn't understand, Wang Zhong understood. Especially in the wilderness, as long as the chickens weren't bitten to death, they didn't have to worry about feeding the chickens. Thus, it was very simple for him. For the next few days, Wang Zhong would drive a flock of chickens into the house in the evening. This was to let the chickens recognize their home. In the future, when the chickens were big, there was no need to drive them. Once it was night time, the chickens would go home by themselves. Because the family raised chickens, although the smell was a bit bad, it could at least ensure that the chickens wouldn't be eaten by weasels. 2 years had passed. Over the past 2 years, the entire nest of chickens had grown healthily under Wang Zhong's care. Every single one of them had become large hens, and they were able to lay an egg almost every day. This made Zhang Xiaohong so happy that she couldn't close her mouth. After that, in order to have more income, the 5-year-old Wang Yu began to help Uncle Ma Wu catch fish in the river. Although he couldn't do heavy work, he could still help with the net. The more Uncle Ma Wu looked at Wang Zhong, the more satisfied he was with him. How old was this kid? Other kids would be playing in the mud every day, but Wang Xiaoyu had already started to raise chickens and catch fish. It seemed that the mother and son's days were getting better and better. However, Wang Zhong wasn't satisfied. Now their lives were just food and clothing. If they wanted to live a good life, they needed 3 things: a house, money, and a wife. Their family was too shabby. Chapter 31. Son, I'll go and sell the eggs. When I come back, I'll bring you a new set of clothes. Don't run around at home. Zhang Xiaohong reminded him patiently early in the morning. Don't worry, mother. And then mother will be leaving. Zhang Xiaohong smiled. She was very confident in her son's work. As soon as Zhang Xiaohong left, Wang Zhong walked into the house. There was a small basket under the shelf in the corner. It was covered with a cotton cloth to keep it warm. When he lifted the cloth, there were 10 eggs lying under it. Over the past year, under Wang Zhong's meticulous care, there were now more than 20 chickens. All of them had been hatched. Now many more chickens were about to break out of their shells. Brother Xiaoyu. At this time, the 5-year-old Guo Yueluo walked in with a childish voice. Yueluo, why are you here? Grandpa went to catch fish. I want to go catch fish. Come with me. I'm not free today. I have to look after the chickens. Wang Zhong glanced at the girl. This girl was already quite pretty at such a young age. With her hair tied in a ponytail, she looked very cute. What's so good about the chickens? Wang Zhong pointed at the eggs in the quilt. You watch later. The chickens will come out of this egg. You're lying. This is an egg. How can the chickens come out of this? Guo Yueluo wrinkled her nose. Clearly she did not believe him. Then you can watch it later. Guo Yueluo nodded. I don't want to wait. Let's play husband and wife. I'll cook for you. This lass really did whatever she thought of. After she finished speaking, she picked up a pebble on the ground and said to herself, I'll make dumplings for you. Then husband, you can come over and eat. Wang Zhong was a little amused. Children were so naive. They could play with a few stones for half a day. As they played, Guo Yueluo suddenly burst into tears. What's wrong? Wang Zhong was stunned. Then he smelled urine. When he opened his eyes, he saw that the girl had wet her pants. Sob, sob, so cold, I want to change my underwear. Guayueluo cried her heart out. She was a girl, and her grandmother had taught her to love cleanliness. Wang Zhong slapped his head as he felt a headache coming on. Although Guayueluo grew up quickly, she still had the habit of peeing her pants. He hurriedly said, "Wait here, I'll call your grandmother over." After saying that, she ran out. Auntie Sunday. He ran to Auntie Sun's house to take a look. There was no one there. Auntie Sun probably left Guayueluo at his house and went to the fields by herself. That was how it was in the countryside. When the elders went out to work, the children were allowed to play as they liked since they were very young. In ancient times, there was no need to mention it. It was only because Wang Zhong was actually an adult that he did not bother to play. When he returned home, Guayueluo was still crying. He could only frown and say, "Let me help you change your pants. You can wear mine for a while." After undoing Guayueluo's pants, Wang Zhong wiped her butt with a cloth. After that, he helped Guayueluo put on her pants. After putting on her pants, Guayueluo excitedly said, "Brother Xiaoyu, I'll marry you in the future. This way, I won't have to learn how to wear pants." "That won't do. Everyone has to learn how to wear clothes. Do you understand?" "Oh, but my mother said that only husbands can look at girls. Are you my husband?" This child was quite knowledgeable. "We're still young now. Let's talk about it in the future." Wang Zhong helplessly shook his head. At this moment, the sound of chirping could be heard from the nest of eggs. Wang Zhong was overjoyed. He lifted the blanket and saw that more than 10 eggs had already broken. Several chicks were looking up and chirping for food. "Ah, there really are chicks." Guayueluo squatted on the ground and happily stroked the yellow chicks. Following which, Wang Zhong took the chicks out. The chicks stumbled around, and under their maternal instincts, a few old hens protected the chicks as they walked around and began to teach them how to find food. Then, Wang Zhong walked to the foot of the mountain. As they did not have any land, he and his mother had been clearing the weeds at the foot of the mountain. They were preparing to cultivate a piece of land for farming. After all this work, they had already cultivated less than 1 mu of land. Wang Zhong planned to cultivate more land. While he was working, Guayueluo held the green foxtail and followed behind him like a shadow. Wang Zhong could not do anything about this. He could only let her follow him and play. He could not chase her away. Spring came from the east. In the blink of an eye, it was the end of the year. Currently, Wang Zhong's family already had 2 mu of fertile farmland and over 40 chickens. Other than being a little small, there was basically no shortage of food. His originally poor family had gradually become wealthy. It was the new year. On this day, Zhang Xiaohong killed 2 old hens. After giving one to Auntie Sun, she stewed the other one for herself. She also made 2 bowls of braised fish, vegetables, and grass soup. After that, she invited Auntie Sun and her family over for a reunion dinner. During the meal, Guayueluo excitedly kept putting food into Wang Zhong's bowl. This scene made Auntie Sun and Uncle Mawu laugh. "Yueluo, do you like Brother Xiaoyu? When you grow up, I'll let you marry him, okay?" Auntie Sun liked Wang Zhong very much. Naturally, she did not mind saying this. After all, Guayueluo was still young. At this age, she did not know how to be shy. Hearing this, she immediately clapped her hands. Okay. I like Brother Xiaoyu. He's amazing. He knows everything." Uncle Ma Wu nodded happily and did not say anything. He was more far-sighted than Auntie Sunday. Although he liked Wang Zhong very much, when it came to matters between men and women, it was important to be well-matched. Guayueluo's parents were big businessmen who raised pigs and sold pork. They hired more than 10 workers and had a big house in the county. Although Wang Xiaoyu was outstanding, the family's situation was still too poor. Even if they agreed, Guayueluo's parents would not be happy. Wang Zhong had lived longer than the people here. Naturally, he could see the things in Uncle Ma Wu's eyes. He sighed in his heart. He was still too poor. However, it was fine. After the new year, he would be 6 years old. There was only half a year left before Zhang Laoban's confession. He was prepared to report to the officials after the new year to get the 200 taels of silver. A month after the new year, Zhang Xiaohong asked the village's carpenter to make a cart. It cost a total of 5 taels of silver. Then, she placed eggs and 8 fat roosters on the cart, and rushed Wang Zhong to the county town. As for the house, she asked Auntie Sun to look after it. When they arrived at the county town, Zhang Xiaohong found an empty market and started selling. "Mother, I want to play for a while." After a while, Wang Zhong held a drumstick in his hand and said seriously. Thinking that Wang Zhong was usually very sensible, Zhang Xiaohong reminded him, "Don't go too far. Do you understand?" "Yes, mother." Wang Zhong ran out. When he passed by Zhuofu's house, he saw the maid Yalan standing at the door. She was being scolded by Zhang Laoben. Chapter 32. Is this how you do things? I asked you to wash some clothes. Look at what you did to the young mistress' clothes. Do you know how expensive the young mistress' clothes are? You can't afford it even if you sell yourself. Do you understand? Zhang Laoben was about the same age as Zhuofu. His teeth were yellow, and his saliva was all over Yalan's face. Wang Zhong narrowed his eyes. In his previous life, Yalan had been reprimanded by Zhang Laoben for half a day, just because she had torn the young mistress's clothes. He had even punished her by forbidding her from eating for an entire day. "I was wrong. I'm sorry." Yalan lowered her head and sobbed. "You're so unlucky. I got scolded because of you. You're not allowed to eat today. Clean the door." Zhang Laoben muttered, "You're really a slut. You deserve to be sent to the hospital next year." Yalan lowered her head sadly. Wang Zhong walked over and greeted. "Mississippi." Yalan turned around and found that it was a dignified child who was calling her. He was holding a fragrant chicken drumstick in his hand. "Child, are you calling me?" Yalan wiped her tears and asked. "This is for you." Wang Zhong passed the drumstick to her. In his previous life, Yalan treated him well. She made shoes for him and taught him how to do things. When he was injured, she helped him wipe his wounds. "Huh?" Yalan was stunned. "I have a sister who looks like you. I can see that you're a good person. I'll think of a way to save you." Wang Zhong stuffed the drumstick into her hand and left mysteriously. There was no need for him to let Yalan go now. After all, even if Yalan was arrested, she would be released soon. As for Zhang Laoben's slave contract, it didn't matter. After all, he was the one who reported it. Zhang Laoben was Zhuofu's butler. If Zhuofu was arrested, he wouldn't be able to get away with it. When he returned to his mother's shop, business was good. Because the chickens were cheap, half of them were sold. In the afternoon, the eggs and chickens were sold for 20 taels of silver. "Mother, I found a secret." Just as Zhang Xiaohong was about to push the cart away, Wang Zhong suddenly said, "When I was playing today, I saw a person who looked similar to the wanted criminal pasted on the county government's entrance." "It can't be, right?" Zhang Xiaohong was in disbelief. "It's true. Let's report it to the officials. There's a reward of 200 taels of silver." This, Zhang Xiaohong shook her head. She felt that although her son was smart, it was impossible for him to recognize a wanted criminal. However, before Zhang Xiaohong could say anything, Wang Zhong pulled her away. "Let's go, mother. I won't talk nonsense." The reason why Wang Zhong dragged Zhang Xiaohong along was because he was worried that the people in the county yamen would not pick on him, because he was a child. In the time it took for an incense stick to burn, Zhang Xiaohong pushed the cart to the county government. "What brings you here? If you want to complain, then beat the drum. If there's nothing else, then go away." The bailiff at the door shouted. Before Zhang Xiaohong could say anything, Wang Zhong took a step forward and threw 5 copper coins over. "Find your Lord Zhao." This matter was of great importance. Zhuofu had been acting like a tyrant here for many years. He suspected that Zhuofu also had people in the yamen, so he had to find Lord Zhao, who had personally arrested Zhuofu, and tell him personally. Zhang Xiaohong came to the yamen often and knew that Lord Zhao was the county magistrate. She walked over and said, "I have something to report to Lord Zhao. Please excuse me." After taking the money, the bailiff's attitude changed. He casually put away the money and said softly, "It's not that I don't want to excuse you, but I'm just a bailiff. I can't let you in for no reason, right? Why don't you tell me what it is and I'll report it? No, we have to talk to Lord Zhao personally, Wang Zhong said. He made up his mind and handed over another 5 copper coins. The bailiff took the money and gritted his teeth. All right, Lord Zhao usually comes out in the evening. If you want to talk to him personally, then wait here. Thank you very much. Wang Zhong cupped his hands in a dignified manner. To outsiders, he looked extremely comical, but to the bailiff, this kid was incredible. At such a young age, he knew how to bribe and be polite, just like an adult. Incredible, really incredible. The mother and son waited at the door. Zhang Xiaohong was still a little worried. She kept asking Wang Zhong if he had really seen a wanted criminal, and if he had made a mistake. Wang Zhong could only patiently say that it was true. Finally, the Yaman's door opened. County Magistrate Zhao Zheng walked out with his hands behind his back. Behind him were 2 servants. The bailiff at the door gave Wang Zhong a look. Wang Zhong understood and rushed over shouting, "Child Wang Xiaoyu pays his respects to County Magistrate Zhao." Wang Zhong's experience in his previous life made him understand that Zhao Zheng was a pretty good county magistrate. Even with Zhuofu's wealth, he was still unable to bribe Zhao Zheng. Commoner Zhang Xiaohong pays his respects to Lord Zhao. Zhang Xiaohong hurriedly bowed. She was extremely nervous. Zhao Zheng frowned. He had encountered such situations before. It was always people with grievances stopping him midway. He was used to it. However, he did not show any impatience. He nodded and said, "Are you here to redress your grievances?" "No, we found a wanted criminal," Zhang Xiaohong said. "It's Baldy. He is in the county," Wang Zhong said solemnly. He pointed inside the house and said, "Lord Zhao, there are many people on the streets." Zhao Zheng raised his eyebrows. Was this a reminder that the walls had ears? The child in front of him was only 6 or 7 years old. How could he know so much? Although he was puzzled, Wang Zhong guessed correctly. When Zhao Zheng heard that it was about the wanted criminal Baldy, he was immediately energized and said, "Let's talk inside." 4 hours later, all the bailiffs in the Yamen were secretly dispatched. Under the cover of the night, they quickly surrounded the Zhuo mansion. Zhao Zheng stood at the door of the Zhuo mansion. Wang Zhong followed behind him and said, "Lord Zhao, the mole on Zhuofu's forehead was glued on. Whether it is real or not, we will know after a test. My mother and I would not joke about something that could cost us our lives. Moreover, even if it is wrong, you will not lose anything. If it is right and reported to the imperial court, it will be a great achievement for you." Zhao Zheng turned around in surprise. If not for the fact that Wang Zhong really did look like a child, he would have thought that he was talking to an adult. At this moment, Steward Zhang Laoben hurriedly put on his clothes and opened the door. "Lord Zhao, it's so late. What else do you want?" Bang! Zhao Zheng kicked Steward Zhang Laoben and shouted, "Arrest him." Yes. Zhao Zheng hurried into the house, followed by the bailiffs. "Where is Zhuofu? Come out immediately." Chapter 33. Zhuofu hurriedly walked out of the room. Just like in his previous life, he claimed that he had been wrongly accused. However, when Zhao Zheng removed the mole on his forehead, Zhuofu was stunned. He could not figure out how he had been discovered. "Arrest him." With a single order from Zhao Zheng, the entire Zhuo clan was captured. After everything was settled, Zhao Zheng asked Wang Zhong and Zhang Xiaohong to go to the county office. "Xiaoyu, how did you recognize Zhuofu?" Zhao Zheng asked. "I saw him in the crowd. If he didn't have the mole, he would look like the wanted criminal," Wang Zhong said casually. Zhao Zheng nodded. Although it was a little strange, it was not necessary for a child to say such things. After all, the wanted criminal had been arrested. Zhao Zheng did not think much of it. "It's late tonight. You and your son can stay in the county office. I will send someone to bring the money home tomorrow." "Thank you, Lord Zhao." "Thank you, Lord Zhao." Zhang Xiaohong was very grateful. "Lord Zhao." Just as Zhao Zheng was about to leave, Wang Zhong stopped him and said solemnly, "Sir Zhao, please don't tell anyone about us." Zhao Zheng looked at Wang Zhong in surprise. "Don't worry." 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. During this period, When Yalan was released from prison, Wang Zhong waited in the same place. Yalan was also very surprised to see Wang Zhong. In the end, Wang Zhong persuaded her to go to Wang Zhong's house. Wang Zhong had thought about it. In the future, he would need a lot of manpower for his business. He did not want to put people he did not trust in. Zhuo Fu's use of Zhang Laoben was a good example. Initially, Zhang Xiaohong was not very willing to take Yalan with her. However, when she heard that her gambler father had sold her, she thought of herself. If her husband Wang Daong was still alive, he might have sold her and their son after losing the bet. Thinking of this, she accepted Yalan. One day, Yalan brought Wang Zhong out to sell eggs. At noon, they saw a few prisoners' wagons at the entrance of the county office. They were all members of the Zhuo family, Zhang Laoben and his son. In his previous life, Old Ben was the one who reported the case, so he wasn't involved in the case. In this life, he could not escape the responsibility. Yalan looked at this group of people with a complicated expression. In the end, she only said that they deserved it, and continued to sell her eggs. In the following days, the three of them squeezed into one room. However, because they had 200 taels of silver, Wang Zhong had already decided to build a new house. In the blink of an eye, another 6 years had passed. Over the years, Wang Zhong had relied on the 200 taels of gold to purchase 10 lambs and 3 cows. In order to protect his assets, he specially raised 5 wolfhounds to guard his house. That year, Wang Zhong was 12 years old. Now the Wang family had built 3 more small houses next to their original house. The old house had been turned into a chicken coop to raise chickens. These 3 houses were not built in one go. They were built every 2 years. In order to build these 3 houses, they had spent all their savings. Although they had no savings, Zhang Xiaohong and Yalan were still very happy. This was because this was their house. They could live in such a spacious house and eat, and wear warm clothes every day. They were already satisfied. During this period, other than the necessary labor, Wang Zhong did not stop training himself. He found that this body was completely different from Wang Erping's. Wang Erping was thin when he was young, because his body was weak. This body was thin when he was young because he did not eat well, and did not wear warm clothes. These days, he would eat an egg every day. From time to time, he would make a chicken stew. Every day, he would eat good food and drink. His body was extraordinarily strong. At the age of 12, he was already 1.6 meters tall. To be honest, he had inherited Wang Dayong's strong physique. Now that the matter of the house was settled, Wang Zhong thought about the next step of his plan. First, he would save some money first. This money would be used as the capital for his next business. Wang Zhong gave himself 4 years. By then, he would be 17 years old. The ancient people were considered adults at 14 years old. He would go out at 17 years old to deal with people. Second, what kind of business should he do in the future? Wang Zhong thought of 2 businesses for himself. One, breeding. He already had a foundation for this. Moreover, he was a veterinarian. He was skilled in breeding. However, there was a problem with breeding in ancient times. That was transportation. It was too troublesome to rely on carriages. Once the journey was long, the costs would greatly increase. The risk was too high. Therefore, it was difficult to expand the breeding industry. 2. Earn a sum of money and open a tavern in the county. This was something that could be considered. Wang Zhong was confident in his cooking skills and the business operation of the tavern. Moreover, he had so many livestock. The ingredients in the tavern would not be sold. The only problem was the location. The location must be good for business to flourish. Yes, I will rely on the breeding industry to save money first. When the time comes, I will find an opportunity to open a tavern. It's decided. Wang Zhong finished planning. The next day, he pushed the cart and prepared to sell a few chickens and eggs. Sister Yalan, mother, I will be leaving. Hey, drive safe, Zhang Xiaohong said as she came out of the house. Now that Wang Zhong had grown up, Wang Zhong had taken on the responsibility of selling. Some people thought that Wang Zhong was honest because of his young age. Therefore, his business had been doing well. Yalan held 2 cakes and buns that she had just made in the morning. She wrapped them in a cloth and ran over to him. Xiaoyu, drive safe. If you are tired, I will accompany you. Sister Yalan, I have grown up. I can do this kind of chores. You are still as cute as when you were young. Yalan smiled. Her eyes flashed. After passing the wrapped food to Xiaoyu, their fingers touched. Yalan's face immediately turned red. Wang Zhong did not find it strange. After spending some time together, he already knew Yalan's feelings. After all, Yalan was only in her early 20s. At this age, she should have been married long ago. Countless matchmakers had tried to matchmake her in front of his house, but Yalan kept shaking her head. Over time, everyone in the village understood that Yalan was waiting for something. She was waiting for Wang Xiaoyu to grow up. Wang Zhong did not like Yalan very much, but he did not dislike her either. He just felt that his family was still too poor. Before he became rich, he did not want to have a child. Xiaoyu, be careful. Your mother and I will wait for you to come back, Yalan said gently. Wang Zhong touched Yalan's hand generously. Sister Yalan, don't worry. Let's go back. Okay. Yalan felt relieved when Wang Zhong held her hand. Wang Zhong pushed the cart and walked out. However, not long after he walked out, a delicate voice shouted, Xiaoyu, what is your relationship with Yalan? You are so close. Don't you know shame? Chapter 34. The voice was very pleasant to hear, but it sounded a little angry. Wang Zhong didn't need to look to know that it was Gui Weluo, who he hadn't seen for a long time. This girl had always followed him around when she was young, and often considered herself to be his wife. However, after the age of 8, this child seemed to have suddenly become enlightened, and was no longer so close to him. After that, she would sometimes come over to play with little Chick, or look for their family's wolfhounds to play. When she was 10 years old, Gui Weluo was taken away by her parents. She would only occasionally go back to the countryside to stay for a few days. This time, she probably came back again. Isn't this my wife? Wang Zhong glanced at Gui Weluo. Girls develop quickly. She was almost as tall as him. Bah, who is your wife? Gui Weluo stared at Wang Zhong, but there was no anger in her eyes. Instead, she looked a little cute. Wang Zhong deliberately said, Why don't you admit it? When we were young, who chased after me and called me husband? Gui Weluo blushed and stammered, not knowing what to say. Wang Zhong looked at her, and was amused. He waved his hand and said, I am just joking with you. When did you come over? My father sent me here last night. He is busy these days, and has no time to take care of me. Wang Zhong nodded. Why are you alone? Grandma and Grandpa went fishing again. It is boring to be alone. Gui Weluo pouted. Suddenly her eyes lit up. You are going to sell eggs. I will go with you. Okay. I will treat you to lunch. Wang Zhong, who didn't have a single silver, and only had 2 pancakes, took the initiative to offer. It would be a pity if he didn't use such a good free labor. It is okay. I have the silver that my mother gave me. Gui Weluo patted her pouch generously. It was full of money. This was a little rich woman. In Wang Zhong's view, if he could, it would be good to take down Gui Weluo. They got along well, and his mother also liked this girl. Let's take it slow. The more familiar they were when they were young, the harder it would be for him to get into her heart. He had to tease her to get in. That's a lot of silver. If you want to play more, let's go see the lanterns tonight, Wang Zhong said. Okay. Do you have lanterns? Yes, I know a place. When the time comes, I'll park the handcart at the house of a merchant I know, and bring you there. As the two of them chatted, they unknowingly walked far away. However, as soon as she ran out of the village, she heard a rough voice shouting, You Luo, you're back. Wang Zhong turned around, and saw a chubby 15-year-old child running over. When he saw them, Wang Zhong's face immediately turned ugly. If he had to say who he hated the most in the village, it would probably be his good uncle and good aunt. This child was called Wang Run, the son of his uncle. Wang Run was much luckier than him since he was young. He had 5 sisters and was the only son. Therefore, he was the family's treasure since he was young. Therefore, he ate well since he was young. At the age of 15 he was already chubby. Wang Ren was obviously interested in Guo Yueluo. As long as Guo Yueluo went home to see Auntie Sun, this kid would come over with food. He had a lot of ideas. Yes, I just came back last night, Guo Yueluo replied when she saw Wang Ren. As Wang Zhong's family and his uncles' and aunts' families were not on good terms, Wang Ren walked over and ignored Wang Zhong. He said, "My father caught a little white rabbit a few days ago. I've been keeping it. Do you want me to give it to you?" Guo Yueluo's eyes lit up. After all, girls liked furry animals. However, before she could say anything, Wang Zhong looked up and said, "Wang Ren, Yu Luo is going to the county with me. You can leave the rabbit with Auntie Sunday." When Guo Yueluo heard this, she thought, "That's right. I still need to go to the county to see the lanterns. I can leave the rabbit with my grandmother." Thinking of this, she quickly nodded. "It's a long way to the county. Just leave the rabbit at my grandmother's house." Wang Ren panicked and said in a pleading tone, "Yu Luo, why don't we go see the rabbit first? Take care of the rabbit, and I'll take you to the county." "All right, I heard from my father that there are lanterns to see. I'll take you there." Wang Ren looked stupid, but he was actually very smart. If it was someone else, Guo Yueluo would have been chased away. However, who was Wang Zhong? He immediately put the cart in Guo Yueluo's hands and said, "I'm tired from pushing this cart. Yu Luo, help me push it. Let's go." His voice was very domineering. Guo Yueluo was still a child after all, so she pushed the cart away. Wang Zhong anxiously stomped his feet. If he didn't want to show off in front of Guo Yueluo, he really wanted to beat up Wang Zhong. "Wang Xiaoyu, you're deliberately making things difficult for me. Just you wait. I'm going to tell my father." This child was very young, but his heart was like his father's. He was already very evil. Once he got back, he told his father about what happened. "Father, that Wang Xiaoyu must have done it on purpose. I didn't beat him up because Yu Luo was next to me. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to bear the consequences." Wang Dahu was digging in the ground. When he heard this, he stopped what he was doing and said, "You did well. Although Wang Zhong took advantage of you this time, it's fine. When Yu Luo comes back, you should walk around more. If you can sleep with her first. When Yu Luo is 15, I'll propose marriage for you. In terms of family background, that Wang Xiaoyu is nothing." I'm so tired." After pushing the cart for 2 kilometers, Guo Yueluo's hands were sore. She could only stop the cart. "Let me do it." Wang Zhong calmly pushed the cart. Guo Yueluo held the green foxtail and jumped up and down and said, "Brother Xiaoyu, you seem to be very angry just now. Why?" "Because that brat Wang Ren has bad intentions towards you," Wang Zhong said bluntly. Didn't you notice? That brat kept looking into your clothes. If you left with him, who knows what he would do to you? After all, children were easy to fool." In just a few words, Wang Ren's image in Guo Yueluo's heart collapsed. Now, Wang Ren was just a hoodlum in her heart. "That's why you should stay away from this kind of person. Look at his fat head and big ears. He must be lazy because hardworking people tend to be thin." These words made sense. Guo Yueluo nodded and thought to herself, "Brother Xiaoyu is amazing. He can see through a good person and a bad person in one glance. I should stay away from Wang Ren in the future." Chapter 35. Although Guo Yueluo also lived in the county, her parents were usually very busy and did not have time to take her out to play. Therefore, she was not as familiar with the county as Wang Zhong. When they arrived at the county, Wang Zhong went to the usual place. This place was very prosperous, and there were many people. "Xiaoyu, you're here. I knew you would come today. I saved a seat for you," Uncle Ge, who was selling pancakes, said with a smile. "Thank you, Uncle Ge. This is a hard-boiled egg for you." Wang Zhong handed over a hard-boiled egg. Aunt Xiao, who was selling fish, said, "Xiaoyu, you're early today." Wang Zhong also gave her a hard-boiled egg and replied, "There are a lot of things today. I might have to sell them for a while, so I came early. Uncle Sun, come, have an egg." In a short while, Wang Zhong had distributed about 10 eggs. He was able to set up his stall in such a good place because he was familiar with these adults. Otherwise, who would know to give him a good seat? After selling chickens and eggs for the whole morning, business was not very good today. Unfortunately, he only sold 1/3 of his chickens and eggs. At noon, Wang Zhong and Guiyueluo each had a big pancake. After eating, Wang Zhong packed up his stall and left with the cart. Brother Xiaoyu, why aren't you selling anymore? Guiyueluo asked curiously. I definitely won't be able to sell them all today. I'll sell them to my old friends. The two of them pushed the cart to two inns. As soon as they arrived, the kitchen of these places came out. Wang Zhong greeted them one by one. In the end, these people carefully selected the items and sold them all at a slightly cheaper price. Brother Xiaoyu, since these places can buy your items in large quantities, why did you set up your stall for so long? Guiyueluo asked curiously. You can't follow me. I'll show you around for a while, Wang Zhong said calmly. Guiyueluo was stunned for a moment. Then she said softly, Oh, I see. Let's go and see the lanterns. Wang Zhong temporarily parked the cart in front of a familiar inn and pulled Guiyueluo to the river. However, when they passed by a pork shop, Guiyueluo hurriedly pulled Wang Zhong and said, Brother Xiaoyu, let's go another way. What's wrong? That's my house. Guiyueluo pointed at the pork shop. Wang Zhong raised his eyebrows. He remembered that this pork shop was the largest in the county. He didn't expect it to belong to Guiyu's family. Wang Zhong didn't say anything. He pulled Guiyueluo along a detour. The two of them arrived at a small river near the county town. This place was packed with people. Many people were placing colorful lanterns in the river. In a small pavilion at the side, there were many scholars and literati reciting poems. It was a pity that Wang Zhong did not like this kind of literary thing. Otherwise, he would have gone up on stage to be a plagiarist. This time, the two of them played until very late. On the way back, the sky had already darkened. As the two of them were walking, Guiyueluo suddenly clutched her stomach and looked at the trees on both sides of the dirt road. Brother Xiaoyu, I need to pee. Then go and pee. Don't you pee during the day? Wang Zhong frowned. But it's dark now. All right then, I'll accompany you. But you're a guy. I've seen all kinds of things when you were young. I even helped you wipe it. Wang Zhong accompanied Guiyueluo as they ran to a nearby forest. Guiyueluo could only squat down. Perhaps it was because she was afraid, but after a few seconds, she quickly put on her pants and ran out. It's so scary inside. Don't be afraid. I'm here. Hearing Wang Zhong's calm voice, Guiyueluo said, Brother Xiaoyu, you don't seem to be afraid of anything. Since we were young, I've always felt that you knew everything. Is that so? Well, by the way, Brother Xiaoyu, what's the relationship between you and Yalin? Why are you asking this? I'm just curious. Wang Zhong smiled faintly. Yueluo, you're going to get married in a few years. Who do you want to marry? Wang Ren must have been attracted to Guiyueluo because of her beauty and because of his uncle's instructions. Whether it was out of selfishness or other reasons, he was definitely going to pursue Guiyueluo. Guiyueluo did not expect Wang Zhong to ask such a question. She did not know what to do. Wang Zhong did not expect a child to answer. He smiled and said, Wife, let's go. Let's go home. For some reason, Guiyueluo nodded slightly and followed him. In the blink of an eye, 3 years had passed. In these 3 years, Wang Zhong had saved a sum of money by raising chickens, ducks, cows, and sheep. Originally, he planned to use this money to go to the county, rent a shop, and open a tavern. This way, it would get bigger and bigger. He believed that in a few years, their income would double. However, plans could not keep up with changes. Just a month ago, under Wang Dahe's instructions, a matchmaker went to Auntie Sun's house to talk about marriage. This was called probing to see what Auntie Sun's family thought of Wang Ren. Auntie Sun knew that this was a serious matter. She did not dare to make the decision. Therefore, she said that she would talk to her daughter and son-in-law and ask for their opinion. Then 7 days ago, he saw Wang Ren and Wang Dahu prepare a huge pile of betrothal gifts. They were preparing to go to the Guo family to deliver the betrothal gifts. In ancient times, a girl would usually be married at the age of 14 or 15. Even in modern times, some girls from the countryside would get married very early. After hearing this news, Wang Zhong immediately confirmed that Wang Dahu and the Guo family had almost finished discussing the marriage in private. If he did not take action, Yueluo might really be married off. Therefore, he immediately put down his farm work and ran back to the house. Mother, I'm preparing to go to the Guo family to deliver the betrothal gifts. I want to marry Guo Yueluo. Zhang Xiaohong was cooking braised fish. When she heard that, she quickly walked over. Son, everything is fine. You, Mother, Wang Dahu brought his son, Wang Run, to deliver the betrothal gifts. You watched Yueluo grow up. Are you willing to let her be your wife? Wang Zhong asked decisively. I'm willing. But last year, I mentioned this to Auntie Sunday. In the past, whenever we talked about the two of you, she would smile and say that it's fine. She even said that she likes you. But last year she didn't mention it. She said that she can't make the decision, and that it's up to Guo Yueluo's parents. Wang Zhong understood that Guo Yueluo's parents despised his family for not being as good as Wang Dahe's. Wang Dahe's family had dozens of acres of farmland, and they only had one son, Wang Run. On the other hand, Wang Zhong's father was long gone. His family only had his mother and Yilan, who was picked up from the streets. Even if they raised many chickens, ducks, and geese, the most important thing was that they did not have as much money as Wang Dahe's family. As parents, it was natural for them to choose Wang Dahe's family. Xiaoyu. At this moment, Yilan walked out of her room. She gritted her teeth and said nervously, Actually, I can see that Yueluo likes you. If you try to propose marriage, she might choose you. I'll go prepare the grass. I'll feed the goats later. After saying that, Yilan turned her head and walked out with tears in her eyes. This child also misses you. Zhang Xiaohong sighed. Our family only has about 200 taels of silver. No matter what you do, I'll support you. But in the future, you must not let Yilan down. Yes, mother. After saying that, Wang Zhong immediately returned to his room and changed into his best clothes. Guo Yueluo's mother also persuaded. Wang Zhong was upset when he heard this. Fortunately, he had made a decision in advance. Otherwise, he would have been persuaded by Guo Yueluo's parents. This was the case in ancient times. There was no such thing as love. It depended on the family's situation. It was precisely because there was no such thing that some love stories were widely spread in ancient times. That was because everyone longed for that kind of love. It was precisely because there was no such love that they longed for it. The family took turns to persuade Guo Yueluo, but she did not say anything. Soon everyone went to bed. Wang Zhong quietly knocked on the window. Guo Yueluo opened the window and said in surprise, Brother Xiaoyu. Sure. Let's go to my place now. I have something to talk to you about. Wang Zhong never gave Guo Yueluo time to think when he spoke to her. This was because Guo Yueluo's impression since she was young was that Wang Zhong's words were right, and Wang Zhong's actions were definitely good. Therefore, before Guo Yueluo could reply, Wang Zhong continued, I'll help you. Okay. Guo Yueluo climbed down from the window. The two of them took advantage of the night and quietly walked to Wang Zhong's room. Ever since Wang Zhong built 3 rooms for his family, he, Zhang Xiaohong, and Yalan each had 1 room. Therefore, it was fine to bring Guo Yueluo home. Brother Xiaoyu, what do you want to talk to me about? The room was dark and the atmosphere was a little ambiguous. Guo Yueluo asked curiously. Wang Zhong held her hand. Sit down first. After letting Guo Yueluo sit on the edge of the bed, Wang Zhong took out a small box and said, This is a gift that I bought for you in the county a while ago. A gift? Guo Yueluo's eyes lit up. This is what you said you wanted to give me. She quickly opened the box. There was a crystal clear jade bracelet inside. Brother Xiaoyu, why did you give me a gift? Actually, my original plan was to earn some money and do some business in the county. Once I've earned enough money, I'll propose to you. I didn't expect that Wang Run would go to your house to propose. At this point, Guo Yueluo understood. She lowered her head and touched the jade bracelet. No one knew what she was thinking. Yueluo, I have something else to give you, Wang Zhong said in a deep voice. What is it? Lie down and I'll tell you. No. It's too fast. Gentler. I still want. Wang Zhong was speechless. When it was almost dawn, Guo Yueluo opened her eyes and said nervously, Brother Xiaoyu, what should we do now? What else can we do? I'm just asking you, do you like me? Yes. Guo Yueluo said softly. I've already told my father that I don't like Wang Ren. However, he always said that his family's background is good. I feel sorry for you. As long as you like him, I'll be responsible for you. Wang Zhong actually didn't care about this kind of behavior. However, seeing how arrogant Wang Ren was, he felt sorry for him if he didn't anger him to death. I'm going to get up. Otherwise, it won't be good if someone sees us. So be it. Although our family's background isn't as good as Wang Ren's, he relies on his father. I, Wang Xiaoyu, am still young. Wife, just watch. In the future, I'll bring you, my mother, and sister Yalan to live a good life together. Chapter 37. Early in the morning, Auntie Sun was already in a mess. This was because when Guo Yueluo's mother went to Guo Yueluo's room in the morning, she found that Guo Yueluo was not in the room. Oh no. Yueluo must have been kidnapped. My poor daughter. Auntie Sun and Guo Yueluo's mother Ma Yin were in tears. Report to the authorities. Hurry up and report to the authorities. Guo Zhuang ran out. However, as soon as he stepped out, he saw Yueluo running over with Wang Xiaoyu behind her. Thump. Guo Yueluo immediately knelt down. I'm sorry, father and mother. I was at Brother Xiaoyu's place last night. I like Brother Xiaoyu. Guo Zhuang almost lost his balance. Ma Yin and Auntie Sun were stunned. Ma Wu slapped his thigh. Family misfortune. Family misfortune. Let's talk inside. Guo Zhuang did not want outsiders to know about this embarrassing incident. Therefore, he glared at Wang Zhong and stormed into the house. Wang Zhong helped Guo Yueluo into the house. He said calmly, Uncle Guo Zhuang, this is my fault. However, Yueluo and I are truly in love. I'm still young. Although my family is not as rich as Wang Ren's family, I will work hard. Slap. Guo Zhuang slammed the table. Work hard. How much is hard work worth? How are you going to work hard? To be honest, I originally planned to open a restaurant in the county. However, when I heard that Wang Ren's family had sent a betrothal gift, I changed my mind. I will marry Yueluo first. We love each other. I will treat Yueluo well. Guo Zhuang snorted coldly and was about to scold Wang Zhong again. However, at this moment, Ma Yin gently tugged on Guo Zhuang's clothes, indicating for him to stop talking. Then, she said to Wang Zhong, Xiaoyu, you can go back first. I will talk to your mother about this. Wang Zhong understood in his heart. He knew that this matter was a success. The ancient people valued purity, even if the Guo family did not agree to let Guo Yueluo and Wang Zhong be together, and forced Yueluo to marry Wang Ren. Once Wang Ren's family heard about this, they might make things difficult for Yueluo. Therefore, after thinking about it, Ma Yin felt that since what was done, this matter could only be settled. At this moment at Wang Dahe's house. A moment ago, Wang Dahu and Wang Ping were still chatting with their family about Wang Ren marrying Yueluo. One must know that Guo Yu's family only had this one daughter. When Guo Zhuang gets older, the Guo family's assets would all belong to Wang Ren's family. When he thought of this, Wang Ren couldn't help but laugh. His chubby face trembled with joy. Beauties, money, they were all here. This was a good thing that could not be stopped. But in the next moment, Guo Zhuang and his men were carrying the betrothal gifts they had sent the day before. Guo Zhuang, what is the meaning of this? Wang Dahu frowned. I'm sorry, Brother Dahu. We can't be in-laws anymore. My daughter already has someone in her heart. I'm sorry. Guo Zhuang, you toyed with our Wang clan. Brother Dahu, that's definitely not what I meant. It's just that. I just found out. This time, Guo Zhuang was also afraid of causing trouble, so he brought a lot of people. Although Wang Dahu was angry, he didn't dare to make a move. It's like this. My daughter likes Wang Xiaoyu. They are in love with each other. That's all. Goodbye. Guo Zhuang quickly left with a group of people. After they left, Wang Dahu found out from the other villagers that Wang Xiaoyu had used some unknown method to trick Guiyueluo into going to bed last night. Only then did Guozhuang come over early in the morning to break off the engagement. Wang Xiaoyu, you're really fast. Wang Dahu felt his chest tighten. He was so angry that his eyelids were trembling. Wang Ren's eyes were red as he knelt in front of Wang Dahu. Father, I must marry Yu Luo. I like her. Bang. Wang Dahu kicked him, useless thing. I told you to sleep with that girl earlier, but you didn't listen. Now she's sleeping with Wang Xiaoyu. What's the point of marrying her? Do you want the villagers to laugh at us? But father, I'm fine. I'm really fine. Scram. Don't bother me. Wang Xiaoyu, just you wait. I'll kill you. Wang Ren clenched his fists. Yu Luo is mine. Mine. Achoo. Wang Zhong was digging the ground when he suddenly sneezed. Damn. I wonder which grandson is cursing me behind my back. Xiaoyu. At this time, Yalan appeared behind him. Sister Yalan. Wang Zhong turned around. Yalan lowered her head and held a small package in her hands. She handed it to Wang Zhong and said, This is the jewelry my mother gave me when she died. Wang Zhong opened it and saw a gold earring. If you're going to marry Yu Luo, you can give this to her. Her family is well-to-do. You're lucky to be able to marry her. Wang Zhong sighed. Sister Yalan, it's been so many years. Do you still not understand me? I wanted to marry you first, but you saw it too. Wang Ren gave me a betrothal gift. If I don't do anything, Yu Luo will be married. So I can only do this. Xiaoyu, do you mean? Wang Zhong held Yalan's rough hands. When Yu Luo and I settle down, I'll marry you. Okay. Yalan's eyes were filled with tears as she nodded. Wang Xiaoyu, I'll kill you today. At this time, Wang Ren raised his iron rake and rushed over. Wang Xiaoyu, you stole my wife. I'll kill you. Wang Xiaoyu knew what he wanted when he saw him coming over. It was because he had stolen Yu Luo's peaches. He was angry and wanted to kill him. Sister Yalan, go call for help. With that, Wang Zhong raised his iron rake and rushed over. Over the years, other than working in the fields, Wang Zhong did not waste his time. With his memory of martial arts, he had secretly practiced the martial arts that he had learned in the past. Hence, when Yalan called for help, they saw Wang Ren kneeling on the ground with a swollen face and calling Wang Zhong father. Father, I won't do it again. Please let me go. Wang Ren pulled his ears and knelt on the ground with a sad face. This, Guozhuang and the others who rushed over had a strange expression when they saw this scene. Wang Ren was half a head taller than Wang Zhong. His body was also more muscular. However, he was beaten to the point of kneeling on the ground and calling for his father. If his father knew about this, he would be furious. Guozhuang came over. After all, he was an adult. Hence, he let Wang Ren go with a few words. Wang Ren knew that he had embarrassed himself. In the end, he did not dare to spread the news. A month later, the matchmaker calculated his birth characters and chose an auspicious day. Wang Zhong officially gave his betrothal gift and married Yu Luo. Chapter 38. First, bow to the heavens and earth. Second, bow to your parents. Husband and wife bow to each other. Along with the loud voices, Wang Zhong and Guiyueluo knelt in front of their parents. They were finally married. There were still a lot of wedding etiquette, which made Wang Zhong feel disgusted. However, for the sake of his family, he could only do it. For this wedding, Wang Zhong had given half of the sheep as a betrothal gift. In fact, this was because the Guo family had asked for too little. If it was the same as the betrothal gifts from Wang Zhong's family, Wang Zhong would not have much money left. Fortunately, Guozhuang was not an unreasonable person. Although he disliked Wang Zhong's family background, he was also very optimistic about Wang Xiaoyu. In terms of ability, he was definitely better than Wang Ren. This was publicly acknowledged by the villagers. Because of this, after knowing that Guiyueluo liked Wang Zhong, he accepted his fate and did not make things difficult for Wang Zhong. Brother Xiaoyu, I'm your wife now. My father asked for so little betrothal gifts from you. You have to treat me better in the future. After the feast, Wang Zhong returned to the room. Guo Yueluo helped Wang Zhong take off his clothes as she spoke. Wang Zhong smiled. You're still calling me brother, Xiaoyu. It's time to change it. Guo Yueluo lowered her head and patted Wang Zhong's shoulder. You're so annoying, husband. Wife, don't worry. I've saved some money over the years, and I'm preparing to open a tavern in the city. What about the livestock at home? Guo Yueluo asked worriedly. There are many taverns in the county, and the competition is fierce. Don't worry. Wang Zhong patted Guo Yueluo's hand. I'm not going to raise these livestock. I can't bear for our family to stay in this poor valley for the rest of our lives. Upon hearing Wang Zhong's bold words, Guo Yueluo's heart warmed. Hubby, you're really ambitious. However, if you want to do it, you'd better ask my father. He has traveled extensively when he was young, and has experience. Yes, of course. It's getting late. Rest early. Aya. After the wedding, Wang Zhong did not prepare the hot pot immediately. Instead, he continued to raise a group of livestock. A year later, Wang Zhong, who felt that he had saved enough money, brought Guo Yueluo to the county town to look for a suitable place to open a tavern. Because this county town was relatively close to the imperial capital, it was one of the 4 major cities connected to the imperial capital. It was very prosperous, so there were countless taverns here. There were too many taverns, small taverns, flower taverns, storytelling taverns, inns and taverns. Fortunately, this county town was prosperous enough to support so many businesses. However, because there were so many businesses, these taverns could only maintain a half-dead state. Wang Zhong and Guo Yueluo first went to their father-in-law's place. When Guo Zhuang heard that Wang Zhong wanted to open a tavern here, he immediately became unhappy. Xiaoyu, I know that you're smart. However, you're still too young. Let's not talk about other places. Just on my street there are 5 taverns. I've seen the businesses of those taverns. They're all so. 3 of them are even losing money. Therefore, it's definitely not possible. Father, Xiaoyu said that he has a way. Guo Yueluo pouted as she defended her husband. Wang Zhong said, my tavern is different from theirs. How is it different? I'm going to make hot pot. Over the years, Wang Zhong had already observed the taverns here. No matter what kind of tavern it was, they were all the same. They only had the same few dishes, and the same 2 types of drinks. It was so monotonous that it made people anxious. Hot pot, on the other hand, was not available here at all. There were 3 major advantages to opening a hot pot restaurant that would allow him to succeed. First, novelty. Most of the people living in the county town were not bad. Everyone was willing to try new things. Second, low cost. Taverns like these had to hire chefs. If the chef's skills were bad, it would be useless no matter how good the location was. Moreover, they had to hire waiters and dishwashers. These people had to be paid every month. As for hot pot, at the very least, the chef would not be needed. Serving hot pot was much more leisurely than cooking. The waiter's workload would be greatly reduced. Therefore, only half of the waiters would be needed. This reduced the cost. Third, the price of hot pot was affordable. Everyone knew that hot pot was affordable. For example, if the base of the hot pot was chicken soup, you could just add some vegetables. This would make the price cheaper. Eating with friends and family, drinking some wine, and adding some vegetables or carrots into the soup would not only be delicious but also cheap. The most important thing was the atmosphere. Especially in winter. It was definitely possible. With these 3 advantages, Wang Zhong believed that the business would definitely be successful. So this is called hot pot. It sounds good, but it's eating while cooking. Will it be inconvenient? Guo Zhuang was worried. Wang Zhong had already thought about it. He said, I've already told Yueluo. I'll prepare the ingredients for the hot pot in the next few days. When the time comes, I'll bring them over. Let's eat as a family. Okay. If it's delicious, I'll definitely support you. After they finished talking, Wang Zhong and Guo Yueluo sat for a while before leaving. When he reached home, Wang Zhong began to focus on making the pot for the hot pot. There were 2 choices for the pot. One was an iron pot, and the other was a clay pot. In the end, Wang Zhong chose the clay pot because the clay pot was relatively durable and had good heat resistance. The iron pot was easy to damage, and the edges were very hot. It was very dangerous. Then, he contacted a ceramic craftsman in the neighboring village and ordered a clay pot the size of a wash basin. The ingredients for the hot pot were relatively simple. Wang Zhong chose charcoal. After cutting the wood into small pieces the size of a finger, he placed them in the iron pot and burned them. In the end, they turned into pieces of black charcoal. The charcoal would not burn with an open flame. When it reached the burning point, it would turn into charcoal. A pile of charcoal could maintain a high temperature for 1 to 2 hours. Even in modern society, many barbecuers used charcoal in the barbecue grill to barbecue. After the basic ingredients for the barbecue were prepared, the next step was to prepare the pots and pans. He wasn't like other taverns, where pots and pans were placed on different tables. It didn't look like a proper tavern. He wanted them to be exactly the same, and each bowl had 4 words engraved on it: small fish hot pot. If he wanted to do business, he had to create a brand. Otherwise, after a year and a half, people would copy him and make hot pot. Then he would not be able to do anything. The brand would make him recognizable. At least, no matter how much time had passed, when someone mentioned hot pot, they would immediately think of small fish hot pot. Chapter 39. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 2 years had passed. That year, Wang Zhong was 18 years old. Although he had been married to Guiyueluo for 3 years, Guiyueluo's belly had not grown. The villagers could not help but point fingers at Wang Zhong. However, Wang Zhong ignored them. These people knew nothing. He was still young and did not want to have a child so early. Therefore, when he was with Guiyueluo, he would do it outside of her body at critical moments. Sometimes he would let Yueluo eat something hot. Of course, Guiyueluo understood Wang Zhong's thoughts. However, she was too embarrassed to tell outsiders. Every time her parents asked, she would lower her head in embarrassment and say that they did not want to have a child for the time being. Their career was more important. After all, they were still young. For the past 2 years, Wang Zhong had been preparing for the hot pot. It was not that he did not want to speed up, but the efficiency of doing things in ancient times was frighteningly low. For example, he had tested the casserole for 3 months before he found a casserole that he was satisfied with. It almost made the craftsman quit. After that, it was time to prepare the seasoning for the hot pot. The seasoning was the soul of the hot pot. A hot pot without seasoning was incomplete. However, Wang Zhong had only eaten hot pot before, and had never cooked it before. Therefore, he needed to test it one by one. Today, he would add the sour and spicy ingredients together. Tomorrow, he would add the sweet and savory ingredients together. Sometimes he would add the onion and garlic together. After testing many flavors, he finally tested out 7 flavors. Among them, the flavors could be adjusted, and there was a lot of flexibility. After the basic ingredients were prepared, all that was left was the ingredients. There was no shortage of ingredients for the time being. Wang Zhong had chickens, ducks, cows, sheep and pigs at home. Everything was ready. All that was left was to find a suitable location. In the end, with the help of his father-in-law, Guozhuang, Wang Zhong found a restaurant by the riverside in the city. There were a lot of people here, but there were also disadvantages. There were a lot of restaurants here. If one wanted to start a business here, they had to have a lot of confidence in themselves. The previous restaurant owner closed down because he did not have a good chef. In the end, his business dwindled and he closed down. When Wang Zhong saw this restaurant, he immediately decided to choose it. This restaurant had 2 floors, and there were more than 10 seats on each floor. There was also a backyard, a kitchen, a woodshed, and 3 small rooms for people to live in. In order to rent this restaurant, he still lacked a lot of his savings over the years. For this reason, he gritted his teeth and sold all the cows in his house. Only then did he gather enough money to rent this restaurant for 2 years. Evening. It was autumn, and the weather had turned cold. After renting the restaurant, Wang Zhong and Guiyueluo temporarily stayed at their father-in-law's house. Today, in order to celebrate the opening of the hot pot restaurant, Wang Zhong brought Yalin and his mother over. The whole family ate Wang Zhong's hot pot at Guozhuang's house. The atmosphere was really good. Guozhuang drank a few more cups and felt a little tipsy. He picked up a few thin slices of mutton and put them into the pot. Then he said to Wang Zhong, "Son-in-law, this hot pot is indeed delicious, especially since it's going to be winter soon. It warms people up a lot. But do you want to survive the summer? It's hot and dry in summer. This hot pot is not suitable for eating. I've thought about this a long time ago. When the time comes, when the hot pot is launched, I'll also prepare to make grilled fish." Grilled fish? The whole family was surprised. Even Guiyueluo looked at Wang Zhong in surprise. She had never heard of this before. Wang Zhong said calmly, "We'll talk about this later." "Okay, son-in-law. If there's anything you need this old bag of bones to help with, just let me know." Guozhuang was full of heroism. He looked at his mother-in-law, Sun Yan, and said, "We're not busy recently. Let those helpers help out at our restaurant for a few days. I'll talk to them later." Sun Yan nodded. Crackle, crackle, crackle. 3 days later, Little Fish Hot Pot Restaurant officially opened for business. In order to promote the restaurant, Guozhuang invited many local friends and relatives. Wang Zhong asked Yalan to bring a brush and ink. He personally wrote the flyers. Little Fish Hot Pot Restaurant officially opened for business. It only cost 49 copper coins per person. Not only could they try all the vegetables in the restaurant, but they would also be given 2 caddies of chicken soup. After that, the meat would be calculated separately. If they brought children in, the children would not be charged for the head count. The flyers took an entire morning to write. In the end, Yalan learned how to write them, so Wang Zhong asked her to write them. Excluding Guozhuang's helpers, Wang Zhong hired a total of 8 people in the restaurant. 3 of them were in charge of cooking the meat, 2 were in charge of washing and picking the vegetables, and the other 3 were in charge of serving tea and water. As for Yalan and Guiyueluo, they were in charge of purchasing and occasionally helping out. His mother, Zhang Xiaohong, was also in charge of paying the bill at the counter. Now Wang Zhong had sold all the livestock at home. Most of them were sent to Guozhuang's pigsty to be reared. His place was big enough, but most of it was used to raise pigs. The land at home was basically handed over to Auntie Sun and Uncle Ma Wu to manage. When this new hot pot restaurant opened, it immediately attracted the attention of many people in the city. It could not be helped. Every time someone passed by, they would smell the hot pot aroma. Most importantly, the price was affordable. As long as one did not order meat, it only cost 49 copper coins per person. The price was much cheaper than other restaurants outside, so it attracted many people to come and try it. Because it was winter, if they went to eat other dishes, the hot food would turn cold in a while. However, hot pot was different. Once they ate hot pot, the people who ate it in the winter would feel extremely hot, so the business was getting better and better. However, most people were not optimistic about the long-term development of this restaurant. After all, they were not stupid. Although the food was delicious, once summer came, the temperature could kill people. If they ate hot pot again, they would not eat it unless it was true love. This was especially true for Wang Dahu and Wang Ping's families. When they found out that Wang Xiaoyu had brought her family to open a restaurant and earned a lot of money, they were so jealous that their restaurant would definitely lose money once summer came. Summer finally came. The business of the hot pot restaurant was indeed a lot slower. However, it did not matter. In a few days, the small fish hot pot restaurant in the city would send out flyers again. The new dish, grilled fish, was here. There were a total of 3 types of grilled fish for you to choose from: spicy grilled fish, fresh grilled fish, and original grilled fish. The grilled fish that were chosen were all carefully selected by Wang Zhong's fishermen. They were all large in size. A whole plate of grilled fish was served. You could also cut some vegetables, meat slices, and meatballs to add in as toppings. Suddenly, the business of the small fish hot pot restaurant skyrocketed. After a year, the business finally stabilized. In order to raise the restaurant's level in people's hearts, Wang Zhong partitioned the second floor and set it up as a private room. He also specially invited a musician to play. After 2 years, Wang Zhong calculated that the money he earned in these 2 years was 6 times more than what he earned in the past. It was also in this year that Guiyueluo's belly finally became big. Wang Zhong also changed from the diligent young man, known by the villagers, to the intelligent shopkeeper, Wang, that everyone in the city knew. Congratulations, shopkeeper Wang. Your wife is pregnant. The doctor took Guo Yueluo's pulse and said happily. Wang Zhong's expression was calm. He was not surprised. After all, that night, he did not have an external body. Chapter 40. When Guo Yueluo was pregnant, Wang Zhong officially married Yalan in order to give her a status. Originally, Wang Zhong was prepared to wait for Guo Yueluo to give birth to the child before finding an opportunity to talk about it. After all, Yalan was almost 30 years old. He couldn't afford to waste any more time. Unexpectedly, not long after Guo Yueluo was pregnant, she personally persuaded Wang Zhong to marry Yalan. All these years, Yalan and Guo Yueluo got along well. They called each other sisters and treated each other with respect. Although Yalan didn't say anything, Guo Yueluo could tell that Yalan wasn't married at this time, because she was waiting for Wang Xiaoyu. Thus, Guo Yueluo discussed this matter with Wang Zhong. Of course, Guo Yueluo wasn't selfless. She was pregnant now and couldn't sleep with Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong was still young. In order to prevent Wang Zhong from going out to flirt, Guo Yueluo turned her attention to Yalan. After all, Yalan was quite to her liking. She was also sincere to Wang Zhong. She worked hard in his family without complaint. Several times, her parents said that Yalan was good behind her back. After talking to Wang Zhong, Guo Yueluo personally told Zhang Xiaohong about the matter. As Wang Zhong's mother, Zhang Xiaohong personally discussed the matter with Yalan. At first, Yalan was worried that Guo Yueluo would be angry. However, after Guo Yueluo personally explained, she nodded and agreed. That day, Wang Zhong went to the street to buy a jade bracelet and gave it to Yalan. A month later, Wang Zhong followed the tradition and gave a pair of gold and silver jewelry as a betrothal gift. Crackle. As the firecrackers sounded, Wang Zhong officially led Yalan into the house. In the blink of an eye, Wang Zhong was already 28 years old. Guo Yueluo's belly was very good. For 2 years, she gave birth to a son and a daughter. The eldest son, Wang Long, and the daughter, Wang Xiaoqiao, were both extremely handsome. Wang Zhong sent them to a private school and let the teacher teach them to read and write. Yalan's stomach was also very good, but she only gave birth to one son, named Wang Jun. This was because Wang Zhong had always insisted on the principle of eugenics. What was the point of having so many children? Wouldn't it be troublesome in the future? After that, Wang Zhong always paid attention to their safety. Sometimes, he would just let them have a hot meal to ensure their safety. As the saying goes, one stands tall at 30. In 2 years he would be 30. In order to expand his business, Wang Zhong officially bought the restaurant with the money he had earned before. The business of the Little Fish Hot Pot restaurant was getting better and better. Wang Zhong reckoned that he should have made some achievements by now. However, it was still a little lacking compared to the rich's side mission. This year his mother, Zhang Xiaohong, was already 46 years old. According to the average lifespan of ancient people, Wang Zhong knew that he did not have much time left. That year, Auntie Sun passed away. A few years ago, Auntie Sun was already quite old and could barely get out of bed. In the end, she was brought to the county city by Guo Zhuang and his wife. On a stormy night, Auntie Sun finally passed away. Not long after Auntie Sun left, Uncle Ma Wu accidentally fell and died on the spot after drinking too much because of his excessive longing. 2 elderly people had passed away at once. They were relatives who had raised Guo Yueluo hand in hand. Guo Yueluo cried miserably and lost a lot of weight. After they were buried, Guo Yueluo gradually recovered. She and Yalan basically took care of the children and took care of the hot pot restaurant. At the age of 30, he opened 2 more hot pot restaurants in the city. Although the business wasn't as good as the first restaurant, it was still passable. At the same time, there were more imitations. Several hot pot restaurants suddenly appeared on the street, giving Wang Zhong a headache. In fact, it wasn't that he hadn't considered this point. Therefore, he personally purchased and prepared the hot pot space, condiments, and even the pots and pans. He was worried that these secret recipes would be learned by others. But even so, after all these years, there were still people who persevered and learned how to make hot pot. At this point, Wang Zhong knew that the era of hot pot was over. He could guarantee that he would earn a lot of money every year. But it was impossible to continue to make a fortune by opening restaurants. Therefore, he set his sights on other industries. Over the years, Wang Zhong used the time to purchase raw materials to go to other cities. He saw a lot of local customs, especially the imperial capital. The prosperity of the imperial capital surprised him. And there was a business that made him find a business opportunity. He discovered this business when he opened the third restaurant, Little Fish Hot Pot. There was a small river at the entrance of this hot pot restaurant. Both sides were very busy, and many literati often came here. This was because there were 7 or 8 brothels on both sides of the river. Every day, as long as a man passed by, the women on the side of the road would surround him and pull him into the room. Wang Zhong found that even though this place was crowded together, the business was still good. This place had become the most lively place in the city. As a result, his hot pot restaurant's business was also quite good here. If I open a restaurant like this, the business should be good. It was winter. Wang Zhong stood on the roof of his restaurant and looked at the women on the opposite side. An idea came to his mind. "Husband, what are you thinking about?" At this time, Guiyueluo and Yalan walked over together. Yalan held a cloak in her hand and said softly, "Husband, it's cold outside. Put on some clothes." "Thank you." Wang Zhong nodded slightly and pointed to a place called Spring Pavilion. "Madams, what do you think of that place?" Guiyueluo spat and snorted. "You're so annoying. Isn't it enough that you have us sisters? What else do you want to do?" Wang Zhong shook his head and said, "Madam, you misunderstand. I think that the hot pot restaurant's earning speed is still a little slow. I'm thinking about whether to do other businesses." "Husband, do you mean to do that business?" Yalan was surprised. Guiyueluo frowned and said, "Although that business is profitable, the competition is also fierce. Look at the Spring Pavilion opposite. The business is bad. Those poor women are soliciting customers at the door every day, but they can't get many customers in. That's because the competition is fierce. Look at those girls on the flower boat in front. Many of them don't even want to pay for drinks in order to attract customers." Yalan sighed. Wang Zhong said, "In the end, these businesses don't know how to do business. If I take over, I can make Spring Pavilion the best place in the city." As he spoke, Wang Zhong was already thinking about how to renovate this winter jasmine brothel, whose business was not doing well. Chapter 41. Qian Province. It was the continent where Wang Zhong's family was currently staying. This continent was extremely vast. Hundreds of years ago, there were many large and small countries here. Later on, a king named Wu Yong led his troops to conquer the north and south. In the end, he unified the entire Qian province and established the country as the Qian province with Qian capital as its capital. Meanwhile, the city Wang Zhong was in was located on one of Chengdu's main roads. As such, this place was exceptionally bustling. There was a large river in the city. Apart from eating, drinking, and playing on both sides, it was basically a place to drink with prostitutes. Many brothel boats would often pass by this place. After paying the county government some silver and establishing connections, these brothel boats would dock by the river and start doing business, attracting many men to drink with prostitutes. As a result, some of the local brothel shops had no business. For example, the Spring Fragrance brothel opposite Wang Zhong's third hot pot restaurant. A few years ago, this brothel's business was quite good. There were about 20 women inside and people came and went every day. Business was so good that it couldn't wait to be done. But in recent years, as the number of brothel boats increased, the brothel's business became worse and worse. On this day, the Spring Fragrance brothel opened at noon as usual. A group of ladies had finished dressing up and were standing at the door with fans in their hands. When they saw people passing by, they were incomparably enthusiastic. But just like a few days ago, for some reason, business had been going on recently. These people all ran to the brothel boats in the middle of the river, causing them to be incomparably depressed. I can't live like this. A lady angrily returned to the house and threw her folding fan. Business is getting worse. I haven't opened for a week. Sigh, if this continues, we can only close down. The brothel keeper named Chrysanthemum shook her head and sighed. She took a sip of tea and looked around in a daze. She took over this shop from her foster mother. Back then, she was the top hostess here when she was 14. Her stage name was Chrysanthemum. Back then, business was so good that people had to line up at the door and couldn't be chased away. Especially her. If one wanted to drink with her, not only did they have to pick the time, they also had to increase the price. Back then, how glorious was she? Which of her peers on the street didn't give her some face? Which woman didn't squeeze their heads to work for her? But now there were so many people at the door. Business was so bad that the girls had to eat porridge every day. There was no meat or fish at all. Look at how thin the girls were. Could it be that the spring fragrance brothel is going to fall at my hands? Am I really going to accept old Gu from the village and spend the rest of my life with him? Do I really have to go back to the village to plant crops? I can't accept it. I can't accept it. I'm still young. I'm only 40. Aju was disappointed and despondent. Thinking of the difficult days ahead, she could not help but cry. Hey, someone's coming. Suddenly, a cry of surprise came from the door. Ah, it's Manager Wang. Which shopkeeper Wang? A young lady was puzzled. It's the manager Wang who opened the small fish hot pot restaurant. Isn't his branch restaurant just diagonally across from us? Last time, during the opening sale, my husband and I went there to eat. I recognize him. He's very good looking. Hearing that, the girl's eyes were wide open. He was the god of wealth. Not only was he rich, but he was also handsome. Which girl wouldn't like him? Therefore, they all surrounded Wang Zhong. Get out of my way. Seeing the group of girls surrounding him, Wang Zhong's face was expressionless as he shouted coldly. Perhaps because his aura was too strong, the group of girls hurriedly stepped back with fear in their eyes. Behind Wang Zhong, there were two servants. They expressionlessly followed Wang Zhong into the house. Both of them were experts in fighting. Wang Zhong asked them to be in charge of his safety. Who's the boss here? Wang Zhong casually found a seat and asked. Holding a handkerchief, a Jew hurriedly came up to greet him with a smile. Oh, isn't this shopkeeper Wang? Honored guest, honored guest. I don't know if shopkeeper Wang is looking for a girl. My girls are very pretty. I'm looking for you. Ah. A Jew was stunned. She was already 40 years old and had not been the star for many years. Now someone actually wanted her. This. She did not expect the famous manager Wang to like her. Forget it, she would go all out today. Although she was a little old, her skills were still there. Just as Aju was about to speak, Wang Zhong said, I'm here to talk to you about something. Manager Wang, what do you want to talk to me about? Wang Zhong looked at the girls around him and said indifferently, let's talk inside. Aju could also tell that Manager Wang came here today to talk about business. She nodded and said, let's go to the side room. Wang Zhong stood with his hands behind his back and walked under Aju's attentive guidance. As he walked, he looked at the decorations in the room. It had to be said that the decorations here were really old-fashioned. The paint on the walls was either peeling or faded. Drinking here, first of all, the atmosphere was not good. Looking at the clothes of those people just now, all of them revealed a rustic aura. This business was so bad they deserved it. Manager Wang, I'm Aju. Now everyone calls me Aju. I wonder what Manager Wang wants to talk about today. Aju poured a cup of tea for Wang Zhong and said. Wang Zhong looked at the yellow tea leaves floating in the water and shook his head slightly. This tea is stale. Aju's old face turned red and said with a depressed face, I'm sorry, Manager Wang. The business is not as good as before. You've seen my business. It hasn't been open for a long time, so I can only use these tea leaves. Do you want to expand your business? Wang Zhong asked. Aju's eyes lit up. Manager Wang means, I want to take over your place. Manager Wang knows how to run our business. What's so difficult about that? In less than 3 years, I can make your place the most popular entertainment place in the area. Wang Zhong said calmly. Aju smiled a few times and did not say anything. She only thought that Wang Zhong was bragging. After all, in her opinion, even she was helpless in the face of such a bad business. Manager Wang was just a layman. What could he know? What? You don't believe me? Seeing Aju's expression, Wang Zhong said. Aju of course did not dare to say that she did not believe him. She quickly replied, "Of course I believe you. I just want to know what Manager Wang wants to do. This place will be closed for a year. I will renovate the place, and then systematically train you." Aju was a little confused. If they close for a year, wouldn't these sisters starve to death? Don't worry. I will let you close for a year. I will pay you 10 copper coins a month, and take care of your food and lodging. Wang Zhong said. As for you, name a price. If you give me this restaurant, you can leave or stay here to help me manage it. I will pay you 4 taels of silver every month as your salary. This debt was actually easy to settle. It was equivalent to selling the restaurant to Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong would take over all of the restaurant's profits and losses. As for Aju, she could stay or leave. She would also be guaranteed to make money. Thinking of this, Aju was overjoyed. I will listen to Manager Wang. How much are you prepared to pay for this restaurant? Chapter 42. Your place is just an empty shell. After taking over your place, not only will I have to take care of everyone's meals for a year, but I will also have to renovate and train you. The expenses will be very high. Wang Zhong lightly said. How about this? I will give you 800 taels of silver. 800? This price was lower than what a Jew had expected, so she wanted to fight for it. Shopkeeper Wang, can you increase it a bit? Wang Zhong glanced at her. If it wasn't for the fact that your place is close to my hot pot restaurant and hindering my business, do you think I would care about it? If it wasn't for me, who would take over your place? Have you calculated that I will have to spend a year on your meals, for more than 20 people? Have you calculated how much money you will have to spend on renovations? Finally, have you calculated that once the business here is good, I will give you 4 taels of silver every month? Do you think you can get this salary outside? If you don't know how to calculate this, then forget it. I have many good places to cooperate. After saying this, Wang Zhong stood up and flicked his sleeve. If you don't want to, then forget it. This shopkeeper Wang was too difficult to talk to. Aju suddenly became anxious. In fact, what Wang Zhong said was right. Although the money to buy this place was less, it was still a loss. If she didn't sell it to Wang Zhong, she would have to bear the monthly expenses herself. If she couldn't bear the losses, she was afraid that no one would want to buy her 500 taels. Not to mention that she had so many good sisters who depended on her for their meals. Shopkeeper Wang, I was just saying. Please don't be angry. Aju quickly stood up. Her attitude was so humble that she almost knelt down. I will ask you one last time. What do you think? Wang Zhong calmly said. I agree. I will listen to Shopkeeper Wang. I only hope that Shopkeeper Wang can take pity on my sisters. They are all from poor families. If there is a way, who would be willing to do this? It could be seen that although a Jew was a brothel keeper, she was different from the previous Zhuofu. Zhuofu opened this kind of place by forcing people to be honest, but the women a Jew recruited were all willing. In the next few days, the neighbors found that the old Spring Fragrance brothel, that had been open for decades, had closed. It must have closed down. After all, everyone had seen the Spring Fragrance brothel's business. It was only a matter of time before it went bankrupt. However, no one knew where those women went after it went bankrupt. However, it didn't take long for many people to realize that many craftsmen would enter the Spring Fragrance brothel during the day. Under the guidance of a few old craftsmen, these people would move out all the old things that had been dismantled from inside. Then there would often be the sound of banging and banging. They were renovating the place. Everyone understood what was going on. Soon, there were rumors that a rich man had bought this place. The previous lady boss, Aju, and her sisters had all left. It was rumored that they had found honest men to marry. This rich man must be an idiot. In the small fish hot pot restaurant opposite, a diner pointed at the old signboard of the Spring Fragrance House and said, "The business of this place is so bad. But someone actually bought this place. They really have too much money to spend. Isn't that so? I went to the Spring Pavilion at the beginning of this year. It really can't be compared to the flower boats by the river. The quality is too low. Just wait and see. It won't be long before that rich man regrets it and loses money every day." The diner smiled disdainfully and put a few pieces of mutton into the hot pot. Come, come, come. It's my treat today. Brother Zhao, don't be shy. The mutton will taste better with some seasoning. Hearing the diner's comments about the Spring Fragrance brothel, Yalan, who was doing the accounting at the counter, felt uncomfortable. Out of consideration for his reputation, Wang Zhong didn't let Aju tell anyone that he bought the Spring Fragrance brothel. Now that she heard the diner's comments, Yalan was also worried that they would lose money. Guiyueluo, who was beside her, wasn't worried. She pouted and said softly, "Sister Yalan, listen to those people. They don't know anything. They think that our husband will be as stupid as them and lose money. Yueluo, do you believe that our husband will succeed? Of course he will. I grew up with him and I have never seen him fail in anything," Guiyueluo said proudly. Yalan smiled dotingly. "Well, although we can't help our husband in this aspect, managing the 3 restaurants for him is the greatest support we can give him." Yes, yes. While the 2 girls were chatting, Aju and the other girls were all arranged by Wang Zhong to stay in the backyard of the second hot pot restaurant. This hot pot restaurant had the worst business, but it had a big backyard. There were more than a dozen rooms of different sizes. It was originally used as an inn, but it was temporarily closed. It was given to these people to stay. "Hello, Manager Wang." Early in the morning, Wang Zhong came. Aju quickly led the girls to greet Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong said expressionlessly, "Have you been living well these days? Have you eaten well?" The group of girls nodded and chattered. "We have eaten well. We have meat and fish to eat every day." Yes, yes, the hot pot is delicious. The rice here is so soft. Thinking of the days when we had porridge every day, I feel that it tastes terrible." Wang Zhong's face was expressionless as he listened to them speak. Fortunately, Aju's eyesight was good and she shouted out, "All right, all of you shut up. Isn't it all thanks to shopkeeper Wang that you have such good days?" If you want to thank someone, you should thank shopkeeper Wang. The group of girls reacted and thanked him in unison. Since everyone is satisfied, I will talk about your responsibilities. Everyone listen to me. How to make the business better in the future. First of all, everyone has to understand the psychological needs of the customers in a place like yours. What needs? That is, it is high-end. For example, it used to be called Spring Pavilion. This name is too vulgar. In the future, it will be changed to Heaven on Earth. This name is not only elegant, but also has a celestial aura. This makes it high-end and grand. Don't those literati like this? Aju nodded repeatedly. Heaven on Earth, this name is good. Wang Zhong continued. It is not enough to just change the name. You have to learn how to dress. Look at all of you. You don't even comb your hair in the morning. And your teeth are so yellow. The customers will lose their appetite when they see you. Manager Wang, we don't want to do any work anyway, so we are too lazy to take care of it. Aju defended them. This is your reason. Remember, unless you go to bed at night, you have to dress well during the day. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.